I'm fresh to death, I'm Paul Berry, not at all scary. When I open like Betty Wops, then find to these circles that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders, trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow who can't cry over spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness, it's really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, black son, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Phase, yeah, Bubba C, yeah, Rick flaring on them, Rick flaring on them, Rick flaring on them, Rick flaring sun up, baby.
Hey yo, Scotty, we back. Appreciate you for reaching out. I'm like, hey, it's outspoken. A lot changed. Granted, the concept we still hosting. Giving you the fix you need when on the screen. The veteran, Captain Petty, giving you medicine. Come tap in. You know Scott gon' do what he do. Might not want to hear it, but here go the hard truth. Perry about the numbers, regret if you're not fact-based. When you run your lane, the numbers seem like a statue. Wait. Hey, Scotty, man, I'm not feeling it. I don't think the people feeling it. Let me get in my bag a little bit, just showing what this outspoken really about to be like. Outspoken, this is more than conjecture. These days they land people lost. So glad that we got our own. Hunger insatiable, made for you if you say you objective. Hard truth offering, no offense, just perspective. Come get your dosage and go with me. We spit it like poetry. The pivot was pivotal. Could rhyme here, but I'd rather not. Some say Scotty, some call him Scott. The best one since Stewart. If you know, then you know. But if you don't, then you're lost. Let me be frank for a minute, cause we all know that's how Perry be. Break it down the game for what it was. No apologies. This my hypothesis. You tune in, you like watching it. It's common sense, obvious, competent, rugged, and confident. Hey, we outspoken. We outspoken. We outspoken. This is outspoken, and we gon' put on a show, even if we hear you say I can't spoken.
Hey, back. I think we got another one. They think we can do it, but we.
What is going on, everybody? Happy. Are we on Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday! I totally forgot what day we're in. Listen, you already know what it is. We had to bring it back. Had a great discussion last night. If you didn't watch the episode last night, I got timestamps on that mug. Go check it out. But you already know, Outspoken could be nothing without my brother from another. You already know what it is. Perry White!
You like that, don't you? Something about that neck.
You can feel that football in the air.
Would you say that's probably the best one you heard?
What you going like?
Best neck version from all the games, and if you pay attention, for you, is that
Well, the only other team that played neck was Jackson when y'all went when I was at the Boombox Classic with you, and they kind of went back and forth with it. But yeah, I mean, listen, I'm a human jukebox fan, so it's not fair to ask me that question. You know what I'm saying?
It's very fair because for the record,
I listen. I don't think the jukebox can do anything wrong in my eyes. That's just me personally. I just like their musicality. That's just how I get down. I'll never forget that Rain Down on Me. Woo! Yes, that Joker sounded like it was coming out of the radio. I was like, this is amazing.
Was that the Alcorn game?
Yeah, that was the Alcorn game. And then when we were standing on the sideline, it was like they were blowing, like the horns felt like they was like right on my back, like right on my shoulder. They were just like right before the game started. That was crazy. So, that's always gonna be in the back of my mind. Just I'm like, man. And then the tomorrow, I'm like, oh, that's just different.
The fact you remembered the run.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That.
Let me ask you. You're gonna start the show off crazy today. We're gonna start it off crazy. When you go to these other HBCU games and you listen to their bands, because of course the band is a big part of the game experience. Does it kind of, when you look at them, do you just kind of be like,
halftime wise, I don't really watch a lot of bands. I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm more of a stands type of thing. Like I just like to hear.
I'm speaking in terms of all of it. Like if they crank up something, you just look up like
If you get me to turn my head like whoa, like that's how I know you playing. You playing something, right? Because I don't like. I really it's like it's just noise to me, right? It's really just noise to me. So when you play something that makes me go, hey, they jamming. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's how I know you got me. Because really in the Alcorn game, you guys, you did the neck, and then the thing on the field when y'all were just blowing before the game. But it really was the fifth quarter for me. That was just like, I was like, yo, this is different, right? Texas Southern's band, when I went to Alcorn, they played something. I was like, hey, that J can go. That J can go. Jackson, I think the only thing I've ever like Jackson actually was like, oh, I'm like, they playing, was the Usher at the Battle of the Bands, the Band of the Year. That's the only time Jackson has played something I'm just like, they playing. Every other time it's just loud. Now, when they went, because they were like, oh, Scotty, you're a hypocrite because you said no. When they go against the band, when they went against FAMU in the stands in the OBC, FAMU is playing like the Flight of the Bumblebee. Yeah. Like, and Jackson is playing, don't dump that, hey, they playing something black. they just playing something black so they win. FAMU over there playing like Piccadilly's or something. I don't know what they're playing. It's just something that you don't want to hear. And then Jackson comes back with dun 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 dun. It's just something that you like, hey, just something you can make you get up. Like, oh, this a hit right here. You know what I'm saying? So it's really not for me. Smash tells me I hear music, but I can't explain it like how band people explain it because I don't know quarter notes, eighth. I don't know none of that stuff. All I know is musicality and how something sounds to me, like just through my ear. And the one thing that has always bothered me about Jackson, this year they did it really well, but years past it just sounded choppy. It didn't sound like the song. Like it didn't sound like it flowed with the song. And that's one thing I loved about Southern. Southern gives you all the nuances in the song, so you feel like you're hearing it literally as it's supposed to be played. And Jackson, it just felt choppy, like they would just play something really loud and just hard and harsh, and just and it didn't flow for me. So, listen, Bethune-Cookman band get down too. Bethune-Cookman band does get down. They played something when I was at Alabama A&M. I was like, hey, they playing. Alabama A&M, they don't be playing nothing. They don't be playing nothing.
What you thought about Bama State?
At the Now there was a high school joint at the spring game, so they had a lot of people, but they played Twin, where have you been? Nobody. Hey, that joint it sounded like the radio, bro. It was like everybody was like, nobody loves me like nobody. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, oh, you were just like, that's nice. You know, it was just like a nice vibe to it. Who else band have I heard? Alcorn's band, they haven't really stood out to me. And Prairie View is a negative. If you lose the FAMU, like if you lose the FAMU in the stands, you suck. I don't care.
You wasn't feeling PV band, the marching?
No, that marching drizzle, hell no, man.
Really?
No. And then they got washed in the field. PV FAMU murdered them on the halftime show on the field. So PV, the marching drizzle is not my thing.
How was Howard's band when you went over there to the MEAC?
It was a celebratory brand. Like, you know, one of those bands like you bring out like before the circus or something like that. Like it wasn't, it's one of them bands you bring out in front of the circus, like a mariachi band.
Yeah.
It was now NCCU, oh, they was rocking. They was rocking. That little band it wasn't a big band, but that little band get busy and they be over there. But see, the one thing about Howard NCCU bands, well, Howard, they got me on a couple songs because it was go-go. You know what I'm saying? So it's a culture thing. So, you know, I'm like, oh, I know that song. That's Wale. Ah! But it was they're not special. NCCU was jamming though. I can't even fake. NCCU was they that band, like they're that basketball team that they real scrappy. You like they small, but they scrappy. And they be like, man, it's gonna be a rough day. Like we gonna win, but they gonna really fight. They gonna really fight. I don't really feel like dealing with them. So, but NCCU was super, super scrappy, and they be jigging. They be over there. It's like a church choir. Everybody be moving, boy. You never
seen UAPB or Gramblin's band have?
Nah, yeah. The handicap drum. I've seen the handicap drum. They can keep that for themselves. I'm just not a fan. I listen.
What about Valley Band? Since you remember Mike Reed was trying to tell me they blew on stuff, and I knew damn well you didn't believe that. Now, come on, man.
I haven't. The last time I seen Valley's band was at FAMU. It wasn't with this new band director, like with this, with the whole field now. You know what I'm saying? So it was South Carolina State band be jamming though. South Carolina State band be jamming. Listen. When we was at the Celebration Bowl, they was playing. Okay, they was playing. Now they was winning, but they was playing though. So
you in Ohio, huh?
Yeah.
How far are you from Nashville?
From Nashville, probably about 6 hours, 5 hours.
Damn, I was gonna say, man, maybe you can catch you a Tennessee State game, but shit.
Hey, listen, Key loves Tennessee State. We went to the Southern Heritage Classic. We went there 2 years running. And listen, Tennessee State.
They swackish.
They be playing.
Yeah, they swackish.
And them girls, what's that girl's names? The girls that they be dancing.
I don't know that girl because I don't get to see them often.
Hey, listen, they had these formation hats, like the Beyonce formation hats. I don't know what they call them, but listen, they was walking to their seats like, oh, it was dope. But it was like, they was walking. I was like, you know how FAMU do the little flitter. Yeah, that's how the sophisticated. Oh, that's such a nice name. The sophisticated ladies. They had the.
I never knew that.
Huh?
I never knew that's what they. Is that what they call?
If that's what they call themselves, that is so fire. But yeah, they was smooth. Boy, that thing was. They was tough. They was tough. They walked out tough. So but yeah, man. So I've seen a few bands. I heard Norfolk State be jamming. I haven't heard Norfolk State yet. Who else? I haven't heard UAPB. The funny thing is, I went to the Magic City Classic. I went to the Magic City Classic a couple years ago, and neither band really. They didn't really like wow me. Like that's why when I went to the spring game, I didn't expect Alabama State's band to wow me because it didn't wow me at the Magic City Classic. Like it was just like, okay, but, that's just my thing. But I mean, I know you. If you had to, if the human jukebox was off the table, what was a band you would like to go hear? listen to?
I don't want to say. No, I'll be real. Probably Jackson or Bethune. And it's a crazy thing of how I like Bethune-Cookman because they still playing Rubber Band Man and they still playing shit from early 2000s. You know, you might hear what was that song? Shake a Tail Feather. You remember Shake a Tail Feather?
Hey,
Yeah. And Pancake. Yeah, they still doing stuff like that. But yeah, honestly, but I like Bethune-Cookman when they on the field. They look clean. They march. They make their designs. They look very clean. I'm not much of a fan of their stand arrangements, maybe some of, but if I had to, of course, Southern and Jackson are two best bands. And anytime I get a chance to see Southern and Jackson, I'm locked in. So yeah, I say Jackson State. That's just an honest opinion.
Yeah,
But
you know,
ask a Jackson person, and they'll go to the grave and won't put their pride aside to say
in the conference.
and not say Southern, which
All
at the end of the day
are muted.
they love Southern, but they'll never tell you that publicly. They ain't as real as me. They'll never say, you know what? I actually like Southern's band. They'll go to the grave with it.
I just the thing with Jackson, I can't get over. It's just loud. Like it reminds me of those like my cousin back in the day when he'd be his Chevy Caprice and he'd have like 312s in the trunk and the music and you can barely hear the song, you just hear the like I'm telling you, the only time that I've really like enjoyed listening to Jackson is the band of the year. I thought they won that hands. I love the arrangement of the whole Usher thing. I thought it was amazing. And, you know, that was a precursor to what they would be in the Super Bowl, right? But that was the best I have ever heard Jackson State play. Just the musicality of it, the flow, everything. I was just like, oh, this is nice. But every other time, it sounds like 312s in a trunk, and it's just loud to me. That's just really what it is. So
they got a couple bangers here and there, you know, where you'd be like, all right, like, you know, that got me. I like that. But they drum major. I mean, you just can't help but look at their drum majors. I mean, to me, I think that's who they are. It's that Jackson. And then people, you know, these dance age now, everybody love the rump shaking, the J sets and all that stuff. But you know, I give Jackson, they got some bank. They got
J sets ain't rump shaking. It's them golden girls. Them
J sets be rump shaking too. You ever see when they say rock the house? That ain't rump shaking. Them little tassels be all over the place.
They don't be shaking it like Golden Girls.
Which Golden Girls? Because it's two go. You got UAPB and you got Alcorn.
I'm damn sure not talking about UAPB. I'm talking about the real Golden Girls, and that is at Alcorn State University. Them girls, listen. If I wasn't a married man, them girls could get whatever they want from me. Do you hear me? Pockets depleted.
Are you out here tricking?
Boy.
Oh my God. Full rides for everybody. And I'm talking about literally and financially.
They can get whatever they want.
Whatever they want.
I'll be out here like Castanet, you know what I'm saying? 5,000. Hey, cash happen. Well, listen, those girls are legit. Okay, it is legit.
That all they have?
Listen.
You might like Alcorn a little bit, huh?
Oh, I love the Golden Girls. Oh, you
just like the dance.
I don't care nothing about the band. I love the Golden Girls. Okay, them girls are everything. Lottie Dottie, everybody. They're everything. To like, you know, I'm not a fan of like the Southern, like the Stingettes, the Golden dancing dolls. Like I'm not like because they're real prissy, and that doesn't really. Now like the Tennessee State girls, I'm a fan. I like that, but yeah, Golden Girls. That's yeah.
So the only band you sound like you haven't seen sounds like is UAPB.
Yeah, I haven't seen UAPBs at all, and I haven't.
You pretty much seen everybody else.
Yeah, I seen everybody else. Yeah. Listen, my wife know I'm not walking. If Alcorn State is performing, I'm not walking away from the Golden Girls. And I don't watch halftime shows. I really do.
You the dude in the top with the binoculars. Looking down like, yeah, that's you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, with the binoculars looking right down there.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, if I can find this, I think I can find the performance that put me. Let me find this thing. Because I don't care what nobody said. The Golden Girls, it was Soul Bowl. It was Soul Bowl 2022. Yep, Dion. Yep. No. 2021 probably. Let me check this out because it was at Jackson.
Damn, what did they do to turn you out like that?
It was a performance of a lifetime. Let me see. Golden Girls. Let me see. Golden Girls. Soul Bowl 2021. They did this thing right here. This was the halftime show that made me a fan. I'll never forget it. And they washed Jackson. Okay, here we go. This is a performance that made me a fan. They came out with that Sierra. So this is how it starts, and they come up with that Sierra, and they start moving the.
Is that you yelling in the background?
You said what?
Is that you yelling in the background?
Man, I absolutely love that performance.
You like the big hair being swung everywhere.
I love the body part shaking everywhere.
All I saw was big hair.
I love it all. I love it. First of all, let me be very clear. Jackson played Fame. That shit was trash, okay? Because there's no reason in a crowd full of 40,000 black people you play Fame. I'm gonna live forever. Fame. Come on, man, stop it. I jumped off that bandwagon completely. I ain't never going back. So, but yeah, it was a sight to behold, boy. It was a sight to behold.
So, I don't know what that. Hey, to each his own, I guess.
Each his own. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't know they had fans like that out
here. Yeah. Listen, I would happily sponsor. Happily, when I get those ducats rolling in, I'll happily sponsor. Just need offer right on the thigh.
Oh, you really do like them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll happily sponsor Golden Girls. That was the day for me.
You like them country fed Mississippi girls.
And y'all like them what? Brown paper bag, skinnier than a toothpick. You know,
who is y'all? Who said that?
Dancing dolls, J-sets, Stingettes. No, they can fit through. They can fit behind a pole. Nobody, I don't want to see that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see that. Nobody want to see that. So, no.
I actually like the Stingettes. Them things, man, they nice.
They all right.
Yeah, them Stingettes, they nice.
They all right.
The dancing dolls, they bougie. You know, that's Southern for you, though. And Texas Southern. Oh, yeah, I like them Texas Southern, man. Have you seen them Texas Southern girls?
No, I haven't seen them.
Oh, boy. Them women, not no girls.
He said, thinking of this nigga. That's just my thing. I can't help it. You see my wife? I can't help it. I can't help it.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? But, you know.
Yeah, them Texas Southern girls, when I see them, I be like, that's mamas and aunties over there. Like, they don't look like these young ladies at this, those are mamas. They paying all the bills. You know, they taking care of responsibilities. That's how they look, man. They look grown. I like that grown.
Listen, at the end of the day, the Smash has told me it's not too many girls getting 1 million views on YouTube.
Who getting them?
Golden Girls.
It got to be you just watching it on repeat. Nah, you told everybody last night on the network, just let it roll. That got to be you. Just letting it roll.
Oh man, I didn't even know about them when they was going viral. So thank you very much. That's just elite production. And when you do elite production, you do what? With Elite 15 Coffee. Elite 15 Coffee is sponsors to today's show. Elite 15 Coffee. Make sure you get coffee today. And as Mama Body said, that Colombian is slapping. Okay, like that Colombian breast milk. Breast milk, you made my day. Go get you some Elite 15 coffee today. Link in the description below. All right, link in the description below. But yeah, man, I haven't really looked at the Texas Southern girls.
Oh man, they not girls, they women. Okay, that's the difference. Them girls, them coming out of Houston, they grown. They got night jobs. They
got a 2-year-old at the house, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they got lives. It ain't just school. They got real life lives when you see them, man. Hey, I like it though.
Let them know. Room to grow. I think only 2 dancing lines have videos over 1 million, and one of them is my ladies, the Golden Girls. Let's be very clear about that. You know what? Let's get into a little. Oh, also, quick announcement. You already know what it is, OFFSCRIPTnetwork.com. Go ahead and check it out. It is up and running as of right now. It's pretty much just a snapshot of my YouTube channel, but we're building a network over there. It's going to be updated constantly, consistently, man. So make sure you guys go check that out and support the channel. I'm telling you, this is some big stuff coming down the pipeline. So you want to know where to go and find it at. All right, OFFSCRIPTnetwork.com. All right, let's get into a little second running back of hot and viral. I ain't go deep this time, P.
Let's see what you got for me.
I kept it easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right.
Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one.
Okay, so everybody knows the WNBA draft went down last night. Caitlin Clark was the #1 overall pick, and she is making accountant money. Okay. Pretty much 76,000 2024, 78,000 in 2025, 2026 85, and 2027 97,000. Now, want to give context because a lot of people don't know about the WNBA and how they pay. Their apartment is free. They get a car as well, and this is for, I believe, 3 to 4 months of work. So it's not a lot, you know what I'm saying? So if you take it in comparison to somebody who's making, 80,000 for the year, she's making 80,000 for 4 months out of the year, right? So just want to give you that context as well. But Perry, because now this is conversation, as soon as Caitlin Clark touched down, and also her jerseys are sold out everywhere. Her jersey's sold out in 24 hours, so jerseys are gone. But with Caitlin Clark's new celebrity, her fandom, do you see the WNBA having to chip out more money coming up in the future?
Yeah, I think this is when you start to look at the evolution of a game and start to change because of the fan base and the turn of using social media and all the hype that goes along with it. Yeah, man, because she's going to bring eyes. A lot of the eyes are going to try to see her failure. Haters are your greatest motivators, correct?
Facts. That's what they say.
A lot of people are going to try to see if she's going to fail and what is this going to look like. And I just think, overall, if I was her, I'd go be the face of the big three for that $5 million.
Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
I mean, when Ice Cube allegedly offered that money, for me, that would seem to be the way to go. But of course, she wants to get in the WNBA and show what she's capable of doing with her skill set, amongst the best, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about women's basketball. The WNBA is the best, and she wants to, I believe, get in there and solidify herself to say, I not only did it on the collegiate level, but I can do it on the highest level of professional sports. And so I'm curious to see. I think this is just more eye-opening, and because of Caitlin Clark, and you're starting to see the hype of the college women's basketball players transitioning to the WNBA, and we're paying attention more than ever. Now it's starting to open the doors and open our eyes to really understand what's the difference with the WNBA and how they get paid. Because they don't even travel charter. They travel here. They getting on the plane with you and I.
Yeah.
Going where they going, and so this just needs to open the eyes of people to understand that it's really a whole nother world when you look at professional sports for the WNBA. And regardless of how much you dressed up to say, she's making this amount of money for 4 months, shit, she can go be the damn regional manager at Waffle House. What? I mean, because think about it. This is Caitlin Clark. So imagine what they're making, and this is the superstar. So imagine when you're the 3rd and the 4th round draft pick. I mean, let's be honest. Let's put it in perspective. She's the superstar coming in, right?
Yeah, the superstar. Yeah.
When you further down the ladder, imagine the ones that's undrafted and signed. And how far down the pay scale does it go if this is the high end of it for a superstar coming into the league? What if you just the middle of the pack or just on a team? Where's that salary sitting? I mean, if she's making 70, but they out here making $50,000 and $40,000.
Yeah, for 4 months of work. Yeah, that's pretty much what. And don't add the tax. And with athletes, wherever state you play at, that's the tax bracket that you get. I mean, that's the tax of the state that you get hit. So if you playing in California or whatever, you know what I'm saying, you're getting hit with those taxes, Chicago or whomever. But I'll tell you
Angel
this.
Jackson from Jackson State that got drafted.
Yes.
What round?
That was 3rd round. You kind of stole my thunder.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so
They give you your thunder back, brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you. But going back to Caitlin Clark, we'll get into Angel Jackson. But going back to Caitlin Clark really quickly, I'm curious to see what this looks like because I really believe what's going to. My question is this: And DeQuincy text me. DeQuincy text me. I was just about to say about this about the Aces. But text me offline, DeQuincy. I want to see if you went to the spring game when I asked you some questions of South Carolina State spring game. But this is my thing. If I'm the WNBA, I gotta start rigging games. I know it sounds crazy, but I got to start rigging games because one, I gotta get Caitlin Clark to get off. She has to get off in the threes like she did in college because that's going to keep the interest there. If she can play like she played in college in the WNBA, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be crazy. So if I'm the WNBA and I'm talking to my referees, we are rigging games. I'm telling you right now, we got to keep it close or whatever. And I think the biggest game of the freaking year is going to be whatever team she got drafted on. I don't even know what team she's on. But whatever team she got drafted on versus the Aces. Woo-wee! I can't wait to see that. Cannot wait to see that. The Aces already moving their game to T-Mobile Arena from their arena, 8 to 10K. Tickets almost gone right now. Can't wait to see that. Let's go to Perry stole my thunder, but another one.
Got it back.
Yeah, another one, Indiana. All right, so shit. He said for the July 2nd game, 2 floor seats cost $13,900. God, dog. $13,900. Shout out to Angel Jackson. Tamika Reed has a what? Another one. She got another one drafted out of Jackson State. I don't think people really understand how big of an accomplishment this is. There are literally only 36 picks in the WNBA draft. 3 rounds, 12 teams, I believe, if I'm saying this right. 12 teams, 16 teams, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, she's the 36th pick in the WNBA draft. That is 2 players drafted out of the school of Jackson State. This is such a huge accomplishment when you look at just the level and the teams of basketball that you have the possibility to draft from, and you get 2 from Jackson State alone from one coach. I think that alone should get her a recognition of how great of a program she's building and how great of a recruiter she is. What you got, P?
I just hope that they don't allow those players to be forgotten and that they enshrine or do something to solidify and hold on to this history that we're watching continuously, not only from the great seasons that they've had over the past 5 years and the championships, but like you said, the players that have come through, because in this day and age, it's easy to forget something from 5 years ago and 4 years ago. Hell, 3 years ago, at a snap of a finger is easily forgot. So I hope they hold on to the legacy and form those relationships with these young ladies who ultimately go on to that professional level, because these are the type of relationships that you see the bigger schools hold on to, because they looking at the bigger picture down the line. These are people that can come back. These are potential future coaches at your school and whatever else.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk about putting your institution on the map, and it may not necessarily pay dividends in the moment now, but thinking about down in the future. And I think when it comes to Coach Tamika Reed, the biggest thing about it is, I mean, we talk about all the time trying to get student athletes from our level to the professional sports. How often are we seeing it, especially in women's basketball, right?
Yeah.
And I think this was a huge accomplishment. Congratulations to that young lady, Angel Jackson. But once again, it goes back to what I was saying. Even though she's drafted and she made it, and I'm thankful the fact that she's able to represent us as HBCUs on the next level. But if she got drafted in those later rounds and we see what Caitlin Clark is making, what's she making? She may have to come back and be part-time assistant coach at Jackson State.
Yeah, she.
I mean, Caitlin Clark making $70,000 this year. When you get down to the third round with
the last pick in the Mrs. Irrelevant, pretty much in the WNBA draft. Mrs. Irrelevant. That's where she at. But you know what I'm saying? I think the accomplishment stands alone. That just and listen, let's keep it a buck. It's going to be like the guy said in the chat. It's going to be difficult for her to. Yeah, Kay Johnson said it would be hard for her to make the roster. And Amisha didn't make the roster. I don't believe she made it to the regular season. I hope Angel Jackson is able to do so. Hard-nosed girl, definitely put the work in to get to this opportunity and to have this opportunity to be drafted, and should take in full appreciation or taking the moment of what she's accomplished. You know, having two girls, two post players, you know what I'm saying, come from Power 5, come down to Jackson State, dominate on the way that they do, and be able to go to the next level is absolutely amazing. So shout out to her, and I just want to give her kudos. All right,
she may end up overseas, you know.
Oh, most of them do.
Yeah,
most of them do. I think Amisha went overseas for a little bit as well. Now, Perry, we have talked about some stuff, and you know, we said this over and over and over again. You have the workforce on your campus, and I want to bring up an example before we move on of a young man from the School of the 12 Fans, and this is what he did.
PV, this is Lee Allen Jr., and I'm here to take you through a day in the life of a student athlete. We had a late start today, so I'm gonna be a productive Panther heading to my 12 o'clock class. Pretty sunny out on campus today. Campus looks great. Ready to my boy Craw, PO on the team. Getting ready to walk into the business building where I'm heading to my entrepreneurship class. Today we learned a new chapter and we started talking about midterms. As I leave class, I head to my car. Here's my song of the day. Ready to my boys, Eli and Devin, as we head to practice. Eli here, man. Jogging to the tank, man. Jogging to the tank. How you feeling after practice today?
Locked in and ready for the game.
Always ready to get some work in.
Now tell me how much that cost, PV. How much? I mean, and if he goes into any more detail, you get to see the campus. I've never seen PV's campus. That was some well manicured lawn, if I do say so myself. Right?
It is very well manicured.
You know what I'm saying? These are the things that we're talking about on a day in and day out basis of just something very simple of a day in the life of said player and you get to see, and you just tell them, hey, next time show this, next time show this, next time show this. When you walk into the building, show the inside of the building. When you go to the baseball, when you're driving up to the baseball stadium, show the baseball stadium. Like, that's all you're asking. So kids can get a glimpse of what it's like to be in an HBCU, but this is hard. We making it difficult, P. Free promotion. That's what this is. Free promotion. We keep saying it. The workforce is on your campus, and nobody wants to do it.
Nobody wants to do it. I mean, he's a student athlete. You know, there's plenty of students out there that not even a student athlete that'll show you a day of life of just being a student. The CAF, the student union, just class, you know, sitting outside, just interacting in whatever space that they call, you know, where people come and hang out. You know, once again, the idea is not far-fetched to what we have on our campus. And you identify these people because a lot of these schools, these HBCUs, have students that are on their campus with hundreds of thousands of followers, walking right around their campus every day.
Yeah.
And doing stories and whatever else. And they have to identify these students. These are the students in which, if I identify them, I come up with a work study program specifically for them to, this is what I need from you.
Yeah.
I pay you. We got work study. Work study, you know, everybody say, well, nobody do nothing for free. There's ways to take care of students on campuses, right? Scholarships, work study, book vouchers. You know, I take care of your meal plan. Yeah. Something to give back. You have to show love in order to get love, right? It takes money to make money. Can't always ask everybody to do you a favor. Can you do me a favor? And we big on the favors, asking a plenty of favors. Then when you ask for one in return, you know, now ain't a good time. But there are options and ways in order to get these students involved, bring them into athletics, bring them into the institution, sitting them down and say, hey, you have a presence. We'd like to tap into that presence. How can we help you help us and work together? Especially when you got big games coming up, when you got big events about to happen on your campus, you know, keynote speakers, concerts, programs, whatever the case may be, scholarship awards, whatever the case may be. Find ways to intertwine these young people into your everyday campus life. And you see, they love to show it off. They enjoy being able to say, this is where I'm at, to show other people. And then you have to take that and then learn how to market it on a big scale, because look, the student can only reach so many people, whether they have hundreds of thousands of followers or subscribers or not. But the school within itself as an entity is always going to have a huge brand.
Absolutely.
It's the school. It is a brand within itself that can be marketed. So we just got to be able to tap in and understand how and what ways can we do this, because all together it can work.
Yeah. I like the meal plan, right? Like, you know, comping the meal plan. Because I'll tell you this. How many kids would sign up? Let's say you have a program that holds 10 or 12 people that do social media, you know what I'm saying, as a student or whatever, like that's your job, you know, your day in the life stuff or whoever, or you have a pool of people that have to meet a certain requirement of followers, 10,000 or whatever, but the program is open to 12 students and those 12 students get free meal plans. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get, or not free, but they get their meals comped or whatever. You don't have to pay for it in the program or whatever. It's little things like that. Listen, I'm not an administrator, but I'm telling you what I know. If you can find money to do a lot of other things, you can find money to, or find ways around to get these kids comp for different things. Like you said, book vouchers or things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I mean, it's plenty. I mean, there's plenty of ways to do things, you know. Instead of always trying to find a way of what we can't do something. Like I'm always saying, man, that's the worst for me. Somebody a quick, fast, and hurry and think of a reason you can't, instead of just taking the time, slow down, don't be quick to respond, and actually think about a way that we can.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of what the requirements of work study is, hey, there's a way around it. Trust me, at HBCUs, there's plenty of people that got work study payments for something they didn't do at all. Trust me. What they say, they just riding the wave to get in. So
Riding. Absolutely
it's
right.
just ways to find to get in there, man. We just got to take an opportunity to slow down, put our minds together collectively, and the more you talk, the more the brain begins to process, the more ideas begin to come out. Hell, if it's even having to sit back over some drinks or whatever, cigars or whatever, just having that opportunity to brainstorm and put it in a room with collective people that can be creative. And not everybody that's trained to be one way, right? Because when everybody's trained to be one way, they looking for the one person in the room to come up with the idea, then they just gonna agree with that one person.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, and then everybody's role. We need compare and contrast. We need agreement and disagreement. But eventually it will come to a point to where everybody can have an understanding, like, you know what? We can make this work. And that's all we're asking. There's ways to make things work, man. We just got to figure it out instead of just always it be our own people telling us the first thing of what we can't do.
Quickly. All right.
Killing dreams.
Everybody's been asking. We've made it, okay, to the spring games. All right. Now, what I'm going to give you and what Pete can give you is two different things. I'm going to give you the word on the street from what I've heard. You know, I went to the Alabama State game. I watched a little bit of PV. I watched a little bit of Alabama A&M. I've seen their games online. And a lot of the other stuff, I'm just giving it to you as I've heard from people who attended those spring games and things like that. And Perry can give you what he saw at the Southern Spring game and anything he's heard as well. But we'll start with Perry. You had a great pregame show, Perry, for your spring game. How did that go? And then your thoughts and opinions on the spring game of Southern University.
So, yeah, I did a pregame show before the spring game. And if anybody wants to watch it, you can go check it out on my On the Yard Network YouTube channel. That's On the Yard Network. And what I did is shout out to my boy, Garrett Edgerson. You talking about that can produce and do that type of work. He's the media director for Southern's band. And that's my brother from another, just like you. And I like you guys' work ethic. But he and I had came together and said, man, you know what? We need to do a pregame show. So I reached out to the coaching staff, and I had Terrence Graves. I had Mark Fredericks, of course, who's the new offensive coordinator that came over from Prairie View. Henry Miller, the defensive coordinator, and Everett Todd, who is the special teams coordinator, who came from Texas Southern last year. And he was formerly defensive coordinator at Grambling when Broderick Fobbs was there. You know, and had these guys come in, and I did a co-host with Pete Richardson. I mean, no better than to talk about Southern football than the Godfather himself, right? But to be able to sit down and have a opportunity for people to talk to to listen to these guys, and for Pete and I to be able to, Coach Richardson and I, to talk to them, because what happened, we got a chance to understand philosophies, right? Coaching ideas. What is your schemes going to look like? What players are you leaning towards? You know, what is your idea of developing a guy? How is the world of NIL and all of this transfer portal having to affect you as a coach? And so, you know, being able to do the spring game the pregame show to the spring game, I was able to get a lot better understanding before I saw these guys go out there. Now, when I look at the Southern University spring game, what I will say, I think Southern's defense, once again, like we've seen for the past 2 years, will probably be his strength.
Let me ask you, hold on real quick, Pete, before you deep dive. Did Pete have, because I didn't see that section of when you talked to Pete, but did you ask Pete about Dooley and what went wrong with Dooley?
Pete has been vocal about it, and Pete Richardson just always has said basically it was a stubborn mindset, you know, not willing to change. And Pete has said that over and over, that you have to be willing to change in order to keep up with the game. And he was critical of talking about the quarterback position, saying, you know, if a guy is struggling, give another guy an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, make sure you put your team in position and not focus on one guy, but your team. You know, so he understood, and just like Dooley came under him, he understands the same thing with Terrence Graves. Terrence Graves played for him at Winston-Salem State. Terrence Graves initially went to Wake Forest, then he transferred from Wake Forest to go play at Winston-Salem under Coach Richardson. And then when Coach Richardson came to Southern in '93, he brought Terrence Graves over with him as a grad assistant, and, you know, it's pretty much been since then. So he understands these guys, and all of these guys look at Pete Richardson as father-like figure. You know, he's the guy that basically put them in a position to get their coaching career. So he has no problem with keeping it real with them, because he doesn't look at them like the average fan and say, well, that's the coach. He still look at them like, hey, y'all the young guys to me. And imagine being in that coach's room back then and him teaching and lecturing and showing these guys the way. So he has no problem with keeping it real when success is not there.
Yeah. Okay, I like it. I was just curious because I know Pete gave his stamp of approval for Dooley, and for it to kind of backfire on him like that, I just kind of wanted to know how he felt about those situations. But
he's totally accountable for it. It's just like anybody, when somebody comes from under you, you hoping for success with them, right?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and this is a guy that coached under you. This is a guy who you seen grow through the process. So of course, when he comes in and Pete being the guy that I tell people all the time, he's like the spoiled father to the Jaguar Nation. He just gave Southern everything. Now we just spoil, right? And so because of that, he thought his guy, Eric Dooley, was going to have some success. And he was hoping for that. But it didn't pan out. And it wasn't because of Pete or nobody else. It was solely to Eric Dooley. And that's part of coaching. And I think nobody knows that better than Pete. Because even on his back end, I asked him about that last season in 2009. And I told him, listening to stories of Bobby Bowden saying when Florida State was trying to push him out, he was not ready to give it up. And Pete said the same thing. He said, basically, there comes a time in the coach's career where you never think it's going to end.
Wow.
Especially when you've had success. But he said he just understood at that time he wasn't ready for it to end. And it took time for him to realize, what? It was time for the next, because the game evolves, it changes, and you can find yourself in a content state of mind. So early on, I don't think he felt good about it because, of course, you built so much and created so much. You watch the changes and the money flow in and watch the improvements to the stadium and everything else to the brand. So you feel like, hey, I can sit here forever. Until people start to say, no, that's not going to work. So he said initially that was tough, but hey, in due time, you realize, all right, it was time. So the same thing with Eric Dooley. Nobody did that but Eric Dooley. So that's the only person that could be accountable for it. And I think he's back in Terrence Graves the same way.
Okay. All right. Now, go into your soliloquy of what you saw on Southern spring game in your view and opinion.
Southern, I think defensively, once again, is going to be the strength of this team. You got a guy like Davin Cotton who transferred in from LSU that's on the defensive line. He dealt with some injuries, but now he seems to be explosive, getting back into his position. Kelby Givens, I mean, defensively, he's after the ball every play. He's the guy that I think going to turn a lot of heads. Now, in the secondary for Southern, there's a lot of turnover, right? You got a guy, Horatio Johnson, who's coming back, who's, I think, when you look at him, is going to probably be the older guy, the veteran guy. But you're going to have a lot of young guys in that DB room, but that DB room is deep. And they have the coaches. When I look at the coaching on the defensive side of the ball, just starting with Henry Miller himself, they do a good job at locking these guys in, getting them to be physical and play tough. And that's what I like about that side of the ball. So I think our D-line is going to be our strength along with the D-ends, D-line period. I think our secondary is going to have to grow up a little bit. And the linebackers, these days, linebackers, it is what it is. I'm hoping Southern can get good linebacker play. For me, it's been some time. On the other side, offensively, of course, you're moving away from Eric Dooley, and now you're bringing in Mark Fredericks. What I like about Mark Fredericks, he's going back to the tight ends. And I like to see when the tight ends are being used, you as well, because you talked about that a lot with FAMU.
Yeah.
Southern was a team under Dawson Odoms with Coach Berry, when he was the offensive coordinator, Chennis Berry, that liked to use tight ends a lot. Jeremiah Houston, Ethan Howard, just some guys to name. And so to see them going back to the tight ends makes me feel good about it. But the biggest thing for Southern, and I mean, it just has to be circled, is offensive line. Yeah. Southern's offensive line does not have the depth nor the experience. Only 2 guys returning from last year's team. And even then, last year's offensive line was shaky, right? That transition coming out of those days of the Chennis Berries, running and being that O-line coach. So right now, and then when you look at the quarterback position, you got Noah Biden, you got Jalen Woods, the young guy from out of Atlanta area, and then you have T-Set from right up the street at Scotlandville. Now, T-Set out of all of them has the dynamic ability to be the true dual threat. And I think that's where he would live on with his legs. Now, he made a couple bad throws, but at the end of the day, they all eventually seemed like they found their rhythm. But the O-line was so bad, Southern abandoned the run game in the spring game. It was just like, hey, let's just let the quarterbacks air it out. But what happened was, what I don't like, once again, what we saw last year, the undiscipline from the O-line. False starts. Taking short yardage and bagging yourself up and putting your quarterback in tough situations and putting your offense. And Southern in this game did not convert a lot of third downs. You saw a lot of third and long, fourth and long because of just miscues as an offense. Now, it's first-year offensive coordinator Mark Frederick's first year, but you want to see this. They said they're going in the portal. They got guys that's going to be coming in the summer, getting ready for the fall. And trust me, for me, they're going to need it because Southern offensive line did not look good at all. And that's tough for the run game when you look at a guy, you bring it back, Kendrick Grimes, Kobe Dillon looking better than ever, converted quarterback over to running back. Remember, he ran for over 260 yards on UAPB a couple years ago.
I love Kobe Dillon.
Kobe Dillon is, and then for me, Southern needs that dog. And if there's that one dog on the team, Kobe Dillon is that dog. I like to see us have more. Then from the wide receiver position, I mean, it starts with the quarterback first. The quarterback is who makes the receivers. And for me right now, I don't think Noah Biden is the clear cut. Jalen Woods can spin that thing. T-Set right there with limited snaps because he dealt with a undisclosed injury. So, you know, it's going to be curious. And then the idea is, even with those three guys, do you go in the transfer portal and do you try to look for an experienced quarterback to come in to possibly take in any type of backup role that you may need or push any of these guys? So for me, Southern right now does not look like a polished championship contending team. It's still early. It's spring football. First year under Terrence Graves, first year with an offensive coordinator. So I understand there's a process to build, but if I'm looking at championship caliber football right now, I don't see it currently for Southern football.
I respect for the realist of the evaluation. My question going forward is how I think the great offensive coordinators figure out how to build something around what I have, right? Like that's the thing that I think great offensive coordinators do well is like, okay, my O-line is this. I don't have this. I don't have that. What can we do in place of it? I'm seeing a lot of PV fans in the chat talking about Fredericks is a stubborn run the ball person. And I know I did watch a Fredericks section of the pregame, and he says, you know, if you give us the run, I'll run it. If you give us the pass, I'll pass it. And from my viewpoint, that's a lie. Because watching the FAMU championship game, you tried to run the ball in the best part of FAMU, which is up the middle, which I never understood. That is the strength of FAMU, Isaiah Major, Geno Hunt, and those guys, and you continue to pound the ball up the middle to the strength of FAMU. I did not understand it. I truly did not. So it's going to be hard pressed to see what that looks like. And I'll say this. I had a problem with Dooley because I felt that your wide receiver position was better than what it got credit for. Having the kid from Rice, having you had three guys that I
August Petrie, the third from Rice.
August
you got
Petrie,
Chandler Whitfield,
and it was one more kid that you had, and they could flat out run. They could flat out move, and then you brought Jalen Howard from PV that never really got a chance. So I want to see what that wide receiver room looks like. I know it's got revamped a little bit to see what that looks like. And listen, I don't believe that coaches are doing a lot of development. So Noah Biden is going to be what Noah Biden is, right? I like that kid too, Cornelius Dyson. I think Noah Biden is going to be what Noah Biden is. And if I'm being honest, I've seen that. I know what that is. You might want to give them the start because of the experience, but if this is a complete rebuild, do you put the new kid behind the Jalen kid and let him spin it? Or do you go with the veteran? What do you say to that? Because me, I go with if it's close, I go with Jalen. I go with the kid from Atlanta. if everything is a rebuild, we might as well start this thing fresh, right? So that's just my issue. But what do you have to say, Pete, before we move on?
I'm always with whoever's the best. You know, I don't do favoritism. I mean, whoever's gonna put us in the best position to win is simply how I feel. And once you evaluate coming out of fall camp, whoever, you know, this is time where coaches have to take in the analytics of the game, completions, interceptions, touchdown. Who has the coming out of the fall camp the best completion? You know, who seems to be comfortable? Who's not eyeing down a receiver but has a visual of the field, right? You have to take an account of all of those things. So me, I don't care about the fact that somebody is a veteran on the team or, you know, you come in. Whoever's the best possible player at that time is who I want to put out there. And it can vary from week to week, to be honest. But for right now, I still haven't seen enough to separate Jalen Woods from Noah Biden. I think Jalen Woods is holding his own to even be in the conversation. But I think also once T-Set gets some type of help to him, these guys need game experience anyway. They have to at some point get in, and I want to see them against somebody other than Southern. That's all these guys have seen. I want to see what T-Set and Jalen Woods look like once the lights are on and the game speed comes at them, what they'll be able to do with that type of pressure.
Last question before I move on and give you some word on the street stuff. Do you think more scrimmages of teams should happen? Because Morgan State just did a scrimmage with Maryland for one of their spring practices. Do you think that's a recipe that SWAC schools should take upon? If you have a relationship with a Troy, if you have a relationship with a La Tech, a ULM, you know, having those team scrimmages kind of just to see somebody else to kind of get a feel. Because I do believe that I call them practice all-stars, because you know what this guy can and cannot do, right? You know what this guy can and cannot do. So having those out of team scrimmages, I think that would help kind of evaluate your team a tad bit better than a spring game. What do you say to that, P?
I understand that the scary part is coaches want to come out of the spring healthy, right? So that's the number one thing that you circle. We just want to come out of the spring healthy, so we'll take it as light as possible. We just running through light work, just building up where we want to go. I would like to see, because it's nothing more than what we used to call jamborees, right? You play halves against certain teams and then you move on. So I would like to see it, but I understand because of the depth, and a lot of coaches are nervous when it comes to the injury bug, you know, because you don't want to lose a guy in that scrimmage against a team who don't give a damn about where you finna go next coming up in the season, or they don't want to lose a guy, you know. So I understand the pushback. I would love to see it, but then at the same time, I would understand coaches' pushback of like just the scrimmage against each other. The number one thing they always say, we just trying to get out of here healthy, right? Yeah. So it's a two-way for me. I would like to see it, of course. Iron sharpens iron if we're going to do this. But at the same time, you trying not to lose anybody. You need everybody back. So, hey, all summer, all you can do is go work with your position and go lift weights. We don't need anything to stop you from doing that. Work on your position and lift weights and be conditioned and ready to go for when fall camp comes. So I'm with you. I like to see it, but I just think it's a cautionary thing for a lot of coaches.
The injury thing always plagues me because it's football. Like players get hurt practicing, right? Like, I don't know. That's just my whole thing. If that's how you gonna move, it just always bothers me. All right, listen. All I'm giving you is word on the street from what I've heard, from what people have called me and texted me or told me about things that we've seen. I'm gonna start with South Carolina State. I'm going to give you what a fan said, and I'm going to give you what a former player said, right? A fan told me that vanilla, it was vanilla spring game, but not much different from what I saw at Lenore Ryan game at Benedict. From what players have told me, the offense is simple. Basically, the spring game was made for TV after school special that was not special. And then he also said, think he said something about the D line being light as well. That being an issue. Trying to figure out. Okay, yeah, not impressed with the defensive line. Very soft in the middle. Could not set the edges. That was for South Carolina State. And from a former player, he said, once they put all the pieces together, they're going to be hard to beat for real. Once they find a consistent quarterback, that offense is going to put up numbers. The D-line is the biggest threat. They're dominant, but they need some depth. Other than that, they're going to be exciting to watch. So that's what that was, and it is. FAMU. Whew. Heard it was a little rough out there for the quarterbacks, especially for the FAU kid who transferred in. A lot of people are saying Junior. He's been there for about 3 years, waiting in the wings behind Rashawn McKay, behind Musa for 2. That
A lot of waiting.
A lot of waiting. And to me, listen, I feel like he should get the opportunity, and people might not agree with this, but I think loyalty should be commended. I really do, right? Now, unless you just find a guy that is just like, oh, we can't keep him on the bench, I do think loyalty should be commended. So I hope he gets the start. I think Junior is very much capable. Running back room is deep for FAMU. Still got Somerset, got Yance, got some guys coming in as well. Defensively, defensively, nobody has told me that secondary is not amazing. Okay. They said that secondary is A1, A++. The only thing they're worried about is replacing Anthony Dunn. And I think his name is Sharif or Shife, something like that, something like that. Replacing him and the safety, Deco and another corner. But they said that the defense is going to be straight. Offensively, it's not going to look the same. All right. It's not going to look the same. And you got to give it some time. It's hard replacing Willie Simmons offensively. It just is. It's not going to look the same. So don't think it's going to look the same. In the wide receiver room, I've heard it's ho-hum. They took a quarterback and put him at receiver, and they said he was the best player.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, Jordan, something like that. They said they took him from quarterback, put him at receiver, and he was the best player, and he don't want to play the position. He wants to play quarterback. So we'll see how that goes. But I think overall, I think somebody said they gave a B for the defense and a C for the offense. That's what somebody gave because, I grade stuff like that. NCCU. I'm going to just tell you what I feel. I'm not going to tell you what I heard or whatever. I feel it's a rebuild. I don't care what nobody tells me until I see it in the Orange Blossom Classic. It is hard replacing a Davius Richards. And I saw that white boy recently in another game, and he wasn't all that. Now, maybe give him more reps, he could be better, but I don't think he's the second coming of nothing. That's just me personally. So I think that's
Collier too.
Oh, Latrell gone, right? Mookie gone. Yeah, Mookie gone. So I don't know what that is going to look like. And Blue comments, Zach McKinnell, but yeah, I call him Blue. I think he threw 3 interceptions in the spring game. You know what I'm saying? 2 back-to-back. All right. Prairie View. I didn't finish the spring game, but from what I watched, you need to find a quarterback and you need to find it fast. Them jokers look like Battleship, and they were missing everybody. Okay? D5, miss. C2, miss. A1, miss. I mean, it was just, it was tragic. Tragic. Now, one of the kids can really move. He can really move, right? But Jesus, them jokers was missing on everything. Defensively, they look like a little something. I ain't gonna lie. They look like a little something on defense. I like the linebackers. They really be moving. And I like the corners. But overall, I still don't like the scheme of what PV runs. Is always going to be a burden for me. Ohio State. We all know the quarterback is going to be Jacoby and Morgan. From what I've heard, I've heard it from two sides. I've heard it. One person told me the O line wasn't good. One person told me the O line wasn't bad. So that's a push. D line, they said they need to get better in the D tackle position. Defensive back, somebody told me they got, when somebody tells you, oh, we got some guys coming in, that means it needs to get better. So
that's what they told me when Dion, after that spring, they said, hey, just wait till the fall.
Man, dog, let me tell you, HBCU Football Live, bro, I love you, man. No homo, no diddy. I absolutely love you. What you do is absolutely needed. You are everything. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So that listen, I'm gonna just keep it a buck. I just heard mixed reviews about Jack State. You know what I'm saying? I just heard mixed reviews. So and what I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna listen to the mass meeting about the spring game because they be lying. Zoe is like, he's 60-40 for me. Like 60% I be listening to him, 40% I be like, man, that's straight BS. Like he gonna hype it. He gonna tell you some real stuff. He gonna be like, hey Scotty, we missing on this. We do need to get better here. But the stuff he be hyping up, I be like, come on, Zoe, that ain't. I'm telling you, Scotty. I'm telling you, man. We got this. I'm like, we got these 2 transfers coming in, and then they be ass, absolutely ass. Okay, so let me say this. I want to be very clear. I'm going to blow myself up. No homo. This year is like, I'm going to be so honest. This year, you have to watch all the games. I told people that, I've been telling people this all year. This is the year that you're going to have to, the first 3 games of the season is going to tell you a lot about these teams, of just the philosophy that they want to run, what kind of personnel they're going to use, and everything like that. So don't get so caught up in the spring games, because a lot can change, because the transfer portal has just opened. So a lot of people are jumping in and jumping out. That's why I have not done my transfer evaluations, because I'm not going to evaluate a kid who comes in for 2 months and then dips in another month. It doesn't make sense. So once the transfer portal closes, then I'll do my transfer evaluations, because that should be whoever else until the season starts. So this is going to be a very, very open year as much as I've ever seen it. It's not a FAMU and everybody else. FAMU's going to be people because they're talented. They're just more talented than a lot of teams. But I don't know if it's just going to be how it was like the last 3 years, where it's like FAMU and Jack State. With Dion, it was like FAMU, Jack State, LeBron and the Warriors, and whoever wins that game is going to be the champions, right? So it's not that this year. I think there's going to be a lot of parity in this season, and there's going to be a lot of, probably going to be some 8-3, some 7-4s that end up being in a SWAC championship game that you just never expect, because you lose one or twosies. You know what I'm saying? So,
Scotty, I think the most obvious thing here is simply why we feel this way. When you look around, it comes down to one position. It's the quarterback position. And I think when you look around at these teams, you don't feel confident enough in nobody leading any one of these teams.
Yeah.
And that is the biggest thing. That's why we've been able to talk about Jackson State and FAMU the past couple of years, because guess what? It separated them from everybody. It has been the great play at quarterback. And yeah, as much as people, said what they said about Musa, when you look at the rest of the teams and where Musa stood, he was better than the rest of the field. So the quarterback play is big. And for me in this league, I've always said this when it comes to the SWAC, right? It's hard to find a good quarterback, period, point blank. And it's even tougher to try to develop a guy. In this league should be one of the most creative leagues in finding out how to get the ball to skilled position players, because in the SWAC, that's what we love the most, skilled position players.
Yeah.
So, we
You're good.
Still good?
Yeah, go ahead, B.
This league should be full of wildcat plays and end arounds and all the most creative things and trickery, even tight end shuffle pass, whatever. It should be whatever to not make it hard for quarterbacks who do not have the true quarterback set skills. Does that make sense?
Oh, I get
Because
you.
a lot of these quarterbacks, when it comes to the fundamentals of a quarterback,
They don't have
it.
Yeah, you're right.
But we send them out there, forcing them to try to be quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they play the quarterback position, but these cats, when it comes to making those throws, short intermediate routes, a lot of these guys not there because they don't understand the time and the working of that. And then they looking for the deep ball. And a lot of times that's overthrown.
I got to push back on you a little bit, P.
And that's fine.
The thing with Musa, he wasn't the best. He had the best play caller. And I think a lot of people, and I kept telling people when the Celebration Bowl is Musa and Willie are like peanut butter and jelly. Musa by itself is just peanut butter, and I don't like peanut butter sandwiches. That just ain't me, right? And that's what it is. Like the combination of the two works really well. And I think if you take a lot of quarterbacks and you add them with Willie, they look a lot better. You take Miles Crawley off Grambling and give him to Willie, he looks a lot better. You take a Jacoby and Morgan and you get, because if you've seen Willie's track record, in over 4 years, he's had 4 different styles of quarterbacks, and he's won with every style. He's had a Ryan Stanley, who was an Akil Glass, a straight gunslinger. He's had a Rashawn McKay, who was the definition of a game manager. Like, I'm not going to let you lose the game for this team, right? And then you had Jeremy Musa, who's a high-level game manager where I can make all the throws, but don't put me in a situation where I don't feel comfortable, and he never did. He never did. So I think a lot of people look at the quarterbacks, but I think you need to turn your eyes to a lot of play callers who don't understand how to use their guys effectively.
They don't. They just going for what they know, and it doesn't simplify the game. And you see it in how often do we watch SWAC games and we just look at the quarterback, and I say it a lot, and just be like, bro, what the hell was that? And I'm talking about sometimes it's the simplest intermediate routes, and it's just like, bro, how did you miss that so bad?
Yeah.
You know, and yes, I believe the adjustments, the creativity has to be there for OCs in order to, because in this league, in this world, it ain't about how you do it. You just want to win, right? I don't got to go out there and force my quarterback to have 30 attempts. I just need my quarterback to do what he needs to do, not turn the ball over. But how I get the ball to any of my playmakers, it's simple as that.
Yeah.
It's just getting the ball to him as easy as ways that I can find. And if I know I don't have a quarterback to truly put it there everywhere I need to go, because in this league, you don't have a quarterback that can make every throw around the field. In most conferences, you don't see quarterbacks. You see just athletic guys that can make plays. But that quarterback position is hard. And when you trickle down all the way to our level to talk about trying to find a quarterback, you're almost at the bottom of the barrel. And that's the reality of it. That's why Davius Richards stands out from any other quarterback that has played aside from Shedeur Sanders in a long time from the HBCU level, right? It's just tough. You got to have a guy that can call plays and make it simple. Simplified, and like you said, best with Willie Simmons, finding the ways to get the ball and playmakers. If you got a star receiver, stop trying to force a quarterback to get it to that receiver. Find ways to send them in around, jet sweeps, whatever the case may be. Hell, sometimes you just put them at running back and just it's man, you can be so creative with offense these days because there's so many plays out there that can be simplified to help your offense be successful in the SWAC. And I really do believe that. Now, that may be easier said than done for me, but I watch a lot of offense. I'm an offensive guy, and I love trickery. But most importantly, I love finding the ways to get the ball in playmakers' hands when I know I may not have that quarterback who has the ability to that can force the issue to get the ball to that playmaker, if that makes sense.
No, it does. Listen, there's somebody said, Calvin Liddell said, is that the play caller or the QB when they miss a throw or something like that? Let me tell you this. There's a thing in anybody who's coached the game or played the game, they're going to know what I'm talking about when I say this. There's moments in the game where the coach draws it up perfectly and somebody misses a block, somebody misses, goes to the wrong hole, the running back fumbles, something goes wrong. The quarterback misses, the wide receiver drops it. real OCs who know they the shit, they like, hey, we gonna get it back. We're gonna, don't worry about it. Because you know, and that's Willie Simmons. Willie, I'll never forget in the FAMU game, and Mr. Campbell is gonna tell you, he dials up a play for the running back, and Musa just straight against Southern. The running back, it was a perfect play call. The running back flares out, he throws it, he misses it.
Was that an interception?
No. It was just him and Jesus. The running back flared out. It was in the red zone. The running back flares out. Him and Jesus. Musa just straight misses it. Willie Simmons just calls another play right after that, and they score it. Like, when you know you that nigga, you gonna score. I'm sorry.
You gotta apologize for that. That's real.
But when you know you that guy, you're not tripping off that because you know I'm gonna dial it up again. And that's just who Willie Simmons was. That was his makeup. That's his essence. I'm going to dial that shit up again, and I'm going to score. Right?
But finesse you.
But you have OCs that be like, damn, where we go from here? And it just messes up the flow of the offense because now they're forcing it, or they're like, damn, I'm going to miss something. Listen, that's how football goes. And I'm telling you, when you have a very confident play caller who knows what he's talking about, he gonna, hey, listen, get the block the neck. Like, he gonna call timeout, get you over. Hey, what the fuck happened? Man, coach, my bad, man. Make the damn block next time. Hey, this is what we about to do. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Boom. You know what I'm saying? It's little things like that. Just the confidence of some OCs are just different, man. And when you know you that guy, you just that guy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think there's a lot of those guys in the SWAC. That's my biggest issue. I don't think there's. I think it's a lot of just cowardliness as OCs. Like, oh man, you know.
I think it's egos and trying to prove a point. It's like I'm gonna show you. And I think a lot of times too, Scotty, isn't it a lack of adjustment?
That's more so. That's so much so, because if you can't go into halftime, and I'll tell you this, sometimes. And I'm gonna be honest, sometimes it is the lack of staff, because I can't see everything, right? Like, you don't have 2 or 3 GAs telling you, hey, coach, I see this or I do that or whatever. So it is that. But at the same time, the one thing that I'm saying is you're not teaching your players how to read the field. Your biggest feedback should come from your players. Hey, coach, listen, the team is slanting in the A, they slashing into the A-hole, or they're playing a tight cover 3, or they're sitting on our routes. We got to do something. Like, that should be your biggest feedback, is the players on the field should tell you, hey, coach, that ain't going to work because they doing this. They rolling this coverage. Hey, listen, coach, we can run this play. The safety keeps biting down. He don't see. That should be your biggest feedback. And I don't think that there's a lot of coaches doing that, or they have a lot of players that are able to see the field and read the field. You know what I'm saying? So all those type of things, that's the stuff you gotta, if you have more players like that, then it'll help the offensive coordinator be like, okay, cool. Hey, let's do this. Let's catch them in that, and we'll do some of this. Right. And you just don't see it. And I always call it like, I call play calling. Play calling is like a symphony, right? Where you're setting up the next thing. It's like you're building it. And a lot of play callers just call stuff to call it. I'm gonna just call it. But you're not setting up plays. Like, you're not setting up something coming down the line. Like, a good example is the play call by Willie Simmons in the Celebration Bowl, when he runs the running back wheel, right? He had been running that guy to the flat all game. All game he been running that running back to the flat. And then he turns it up into a wheel. The corner sits, and boom, he hits him over the top. Bong, touchdown, him and Jesus, right? Like, that's setting something up to where you think you see it, you know what I'm saying? But you really don't. You think you know what's coming, but you really don't. And I get so into it,
and it's okay if it's slow and steady. See, like coach back in the day used to say, all y'all want is the ooh and the ah.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of Southern fans had issues when you look at Southern, when you wanted to learn how to run the ball. Watching a team run the ball is, fans don't like it. But guess what? I don't give a damn what you like. Time of possession, and scoring and keeping the ball out of the other team hands is what you want. It ain't always fast paced. This not supposed to be basketball on the football field, up and down the field. A lot of fans like that these days because they want the ooh and ah. I'm the slow and steady wins the race. I will run it. I don't give a damn. As long as I keep the ball out the other team's hand. And look, let me tell you, we saw this in the Bayou Classic 2 years ago. Didn't Grambling damn near come out of there running the wishbone?
Oh, gee.
And it worked for them, didn't it? And then what did they do?
They let
Forced to put the ball in their quarterback hand, and the turnovers then started to come, and Southern got themselves back in the game because of it. That is a prime example of being patient with your play calling and go with it. The run, if you commit to the run, it can work for you, especially when you keep a defense off balance and wear that defensive line down, attacking them over and over and over. Why go against it?
Yeah.
And a lot of times we see coaches in this league offensively go against the grain, trying to force something. And once you put your team, and these young men, man, a lot of them as quarterback, once you break their psyche, which I think Dooley did with quarterbacks here at Southern between Harold Blood and Bashawn McCray, it breaks their psyche. And then when you turn the fan base against them,
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Which is why both guys who had eligibility decided to leave.
That's tough. Cal, coming to you, 9868.
Yo, what up, fellas?
What's up, Cal?
Hey, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I appreciate the call because I've been working nights. This is my first time off in damn near 3 months, 60-hour weeks. So I've been trying to call in, but I've been asleep over it.
Go ahead, Cal.
Yeah, I'm grinding, man. I'm grinding. Real talk, though. This is the problem I see. What are you paying for some of these coordinators? Like, are these your friends you're getting? Somebody that's not going to say no to you. They're going to say yes to everything you say yes. Or are these going to be guys that are really going to push back on some of the play calls? You know what I mean? It's like, hey, coach, how much freedom some of these coordinators have?
That's fair.
And even though they might have freedom, how qualified are some of these guys? Like, if let's call a buck. You posted that Southern salary, which was atrocious by what Dooley was getting paid to some assistants. So if I'm paying a coordinator $90,000, what type of quality coordinator am I getting? Am I getting the cream of the crop, or I'm getting a yes man, or or I'm getting a has been or never been? That's one point I got. I want to hear what y'all got to say. That's all HBCUs almost.
Hey, appreciate the call, Cal.
That's valid.
That's super valid because
you get what you pay for.
You do. And said, I see you. Just give us a moment. I'm gonna get to you, said. Okay, it's twofold. Do you go to your homeboy who you think is good and give him the opportunity, or do you go find somebody that you know is good? You don't know them like that, but you might clash personality-wise, right? Because remember, the Titans said it perfect. I ain't seen an assistant head coach headline and name in the paper for a loss, right? So you gotta. It's a very fine line and balancing act of, do I go get the hot shot that I do not know, and me and him might clash philosophy-wise, or he might want to pass the ball 50,000 times, and I'm like, hey, this time we need to run. Like, it's a lot of those, so you gotta balance that out. And I don't know if a lot of people are willing to do so in certain situations. But what you got, P?
For me, if I'm a head coach, and this is how I think, right, and this will be my philosophy, even if I do go get my homeboy, right, and I see he trying to do his thing, he up and coming, it's something I see in him. What I'm pushing is, bro, it's coaching clinics all over the country. There's plenty to go out there and learn and to understand. There's no reason to just be stuck in your ways, to only go with what you can do, right? You go to these coaching clinics, bro, they sharing playbooks, they sharing the newest techniques. They giving you ideas just like what we do here on this show, brainstorming how we can do things better instead of saying what we can't do.
Yeah.
What we can do. There's something out there, an answer for everything that your team has when it comes to personnel, and somebody's out there teaching it. There's coaching clinics everywhere. Go learn. Go sit in these clinics. Go get an understanding of what offense looks like with personnel, with lack of depth, with a game manager quarterback, with a dual threat quarterback. maybe no quarterback. You may have to just go to wishbone. Find ways in order to do what you have to do to be creative with your team. There's no excuse whether you're making $30,000, $90,000, $1 million. It does not matter. There's clinics to learn, and if you're willing to evolve and get better at your craft, because look, if I'm making $90,000, you know what my goal is? To move up.
Yeah.
So my goal is to bring the best that I can bring from this team, from my position as a coordinator that I'm there, in order so then I can get that opportunity to go somewhere. So I'm going to dig. It's the same way like learning in school. I'm going to make sure I'm prepared for the test. I'm going to go study. I'm going to be prepared for every wrinkle. And then I'm going to go teach this team and we're going to have A, B, C, and we're going to try to figure this out. But there's something to go out there and learn. And that's all I'm saying, man. There's plenty of coaching clinics out there for these guys to go to.
Facts. Say it, coming to you.
Hello, everyone. Man, just coming in with a brief outtake. Great show, by the way, fellas. I would be remiss. Thank you, Southern. I want to thank you for the trifecta that we performed on you guys last year. Allowing us retribution to beat Southern in Mumford last year. For the opportunity to beat Dooley and get back on Dooley. Also the opportunity to be Dooley's last playing game as head coach at Southern. What kind of comeback can that be? Not only to come back and beat Southern, but also beat them at home, but also be the game that actually got Dooley fired. Man, what kind of retribution could that be? So thank you, Southern. Also, the trifecta opening up the position for the offensive coordinator to allow Fredericks to leave Prairie View. We didn't even have to fire him. To actually have Fredericks leave Prairie View because of that vacuum that was left from beating Southern, that allowed Dooley to leave, that allowed our offensive coordinator to leave and go to actually Southern. So thank you, Southern, for that win. It was the most beautiful trifecta that was actually missed and performed last season. So thank you. And allowing for our opportunity to have Anthony Whedon come in to be our offensive coordinator. PV guy, by the way. A lot of times you guys on y'all outtakes miss that.
He was an All-American wide receiver. All-American wide receiver. I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
PV on. So we are happy to have an offensive coordinator. And to that point, I know you didn't want to say this, but I could read your mind, Scotty, through the actual YouTube. And I can read your mind, and your mind was talking about PV. Everything you was describing about Willie Simmons is going to be Anthony Whedon next season. The ability to play call. Best play caller in the SWAC next year is going to be Anthony Whedon. The ability to be able to work with quarterbacks, regardless of skill level, that's going to be Anthony Whedon next year. I have some concerns. You pointed it out with the quarterback play at the spring game, but we will be fine. The fact that our defense got better, we are going to be great. And the one thing that's missed in a lot of these outtakes, and I'm going to finish here, is the stability and the buy-in from players at programs. Prairie View is the most solid program internally of all of the chaos that is existing in the SWAC right now. You got player buy-in, morale is high, players are really getting at it, players are believing in the coach, players are believing in the system. You don't see a mass exodus of players leaving at Prairie View. I think that is also missed as well. It's the stability and structure and fortitude with returning staff and additions to the staff. We're making additions and not losses like most of these programs are doing. So I just want to make those points be made. Go Panthers, and we look forward to doubling back and beating Southern at home in Panther Stadium next season. Thank you, guys.
Hey, appreciate you, Said. And Said, I know I still owe you that $100. I ain't forgot. I owe you that $100. I'm a man that pays my bet. I owe you that. I'm gonna get you that. My thing is this. I have to agree with him on the stability. I can't knock him on that. He is right. PV is probably one of the most stable programs for the outside of FAMU, in the past few years. So I'll give him that. Listen, if Anthony Whedon, I'm not saying he's not a great play caller because I believe he is, but what I saw from that spring game, that's a lot of molding. It's a lot of molding. It's a lot of molding you have to do. And them jokers were just missing. flat out missing. Now, I will tell you this. I'm telling you this right now. This motion that PV does is going to be a problem for a lot of teams. He does this motion like the AFL, the Arena League, when you're running up to the line. He does that motion a lot with his wide receivers to where they're running and then they go. And I'm like, that's going to catch a lot of DBs. It's gonna hurt a lot of DBs and a lot of linebackers with that motion. It's going to be a problem. That motion is going to be a problem. But the quarterback position is just bad. It's just not good. And I'm curious to see what that looks like going forward, because Anthony Weeden is a push the ball down the field type of guy. And if you don't have a quarterback that can hit those routes and make it work, it doesn't make sense. So that's just my 2 cents. But shout out to Southern for helping PV out. Y'all like second cousins, like for real, like the way y'all be passing coaches back and forth and stuff. Y'all are like second cousins or something.
Was it a PV or Grambling, just passing them back and forth?
So it is what it is. Let me say this, because I think Powell State last year was the perfect definition of not playing towards your quarterback's strength. And I wasn't a big fan of Jason Brown, and everybody knew that. I told Mike from day one, after the South Carolina State game, I said, I don't see nothing special. But what I did see special is in that Alabama State game, in that 2-minute drill, that kid was precision. Like, he was like hibachi, like, you know what I'm saying? And I really believe if Powell State would have done more of that for the season, they would have gotten more out of Jason Brown, of just allowing him to just freelance in the 2-minute drill. Because what I was told is he called all the plays during that 2-minute drill, and it looked good. It looked solid. And I think they should have done more of that to help him and make him feel comfortable. That's just my personal opinion. But Paris, don't get up in here lying, because I said it, and go back and check the transfer evaluation. I said Jacoby and Morgan should have been the starter. Y'all was the one on here talking about Jason Brown. Brown, what can we do for you? UPS, we're going all the way. And now all of a sudden, Jacoby and Morgan. I've been said that. So miss me with all that. So, but I'll tell you this. Let's get into the transfer portal. All right, let's get into this portal report. All right, because a lot of people have been seeing it. Here's a few FAMU players that have jumped in the portal. You got Zay. I think this corner is special. I know he's undersized. I think he's like 5'9" or 5'10". I think the kid's special. His instincts are through the roof. He's in the portal. KJ Burke, really special receiver. Coach KJ Black talked to me about him last season. He was like, Scotty, I think the kid is special. He's in the portal. Anthony Dunn, the DN. Word on the street is that he's gotten offers from Alabama and Indiana. So he's definitely going to be gone. And then running back Rodney Hill for FAMU. Heard he was ineligible anyway, so it didn't matter if he got in the portal. That's what I heard. So just a little news on the portal update. Now, let's talk about Powell State, because from what I've been told, most of the freshman class that TC has signed is going to be in the portal. Bruce Mitchell was one of those guys. I liked Batman. I'm not going to lie. I thought he was a great player. I thought he had the potential to be a great player. Seven McGee back in the portal, right? And more to come. Now, from what I've been told, this is what I've been told. This is all word on the street. Zoe probably going to jump in the chat and say, Scotty, that's not true. I don't give two shits. From what I've heard is that the coach, the defensive coach and the DB and the defensive back coach has said this about the DBs. They need more development. Now, the last thing That I thought coaches are there to develop players. Why are you putting why are you telling players to get in the portal, or why are you saying on players, oh, they need more development, oh, they need more this, they need more that, and you're not developing the players? What is your job? I'm so confused. I am so confused, right? So that's just what I've been told and stuff that I've heard, is that a lot of the coaches just want to get stuff in the portal and not have to develop the players from freshmen, and they say like they don't have enough. I can't stand it. And
Call in, Zoe. Give us an update. Call in.
Call in and give us the magical world of Paho State, of Zoe, because we know you're gonna hit us with a whole bunch of rose-colored blue glasses and stuff like that. But last thing I'm gonna say this. I don't know, right? Like I don't know why coaches feel like just grabbing players from the portal is going to be. And listen, I'm all for free agency. I'm all for players, but at some point you're going to have to develop somebody. Develop somebody. That's just like.
I think they scared, Scotty. They scared to develop a guy and get him to a point, then he jump in the portal and go off to another team. I think what we started to see is the game where nobody won't. We just gonna take what we have and roll with it. Them days of development to get a guy and he come in as a freshman, he plays as a sophomore, and by the time he's a junior or a senior, then he hits the transfer portal. And that's supposed to be the time where you reap the benefits, the fruits of your labor, right? Then he takes that and goes off to somewhere else to get an opportunity to play. I think nowadays coaches not looking for that no more. They looking for the plug and play guy. Just bring in the athletic ability. And I think this is going to affect the integrity of the game, period. It's going to start to see it trickle all the way to the NFL, because these are guys not sticking around to develop. These are guys not sticking around. It used to mean something when you came in as a young guy on the team and that junior or that senior who you heard about was that dude.
Yeah.
And you had to be behind that dude. That was that dude who you can learn from, who you can go against. Iron sharpens iron, correct? Yeah. That used to mean something. That means nothing no more. When I come in and you see that dude as a junior, senior, well, you like, he can have it and I'll go somewhere else because I know right now I'm ready to play. We're losing that in the game. And I think at the same time, these coaches not putting themselves in position to develop this guy, and then this guy just for him to up and leave. So it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. You either athletic and you can get to it right now, or you can't. And see, on the FCS level or Division I AA, it used to be few teams who put together rosters like this, and every so many years they'll find themselves. Grambling did this before the transfer portal when they went out and brought all of these transfer guys in, right?
Yeah.
You saw that with like a Jacksonville State, right? You saw that with teams where they would go out, and this was before the age of the portal, and go transfer heavy. And then when those guys after 1 or 2 years push out, then what did you see? You saw the drop off, because guess what? There was a lack of developmental guys coming behind them. And to have to sustain that transfer portal each and every year was hard. You can have short-term success, but it's nothing long-term for the program. And for me, that's ultimately what happened to Grambling after with Broderick Fobbs. It was the short-term success of the transfer portal, but the lack of development guys to keep the program going.
Listen, I mean, I guess it's the way of the world now. You got to get with the system and get with the time. So, you know, and it feels bad, and I feel bad for the for the high school kids, right? Like, you got to be super special or just willing to develop, right? Willing to sit behind and wait your turn and maybe possibly get the opportunity to play. You know what I'm saying? And it's tough. It's really tough to see that. I really think, I don't know why I really like Bruce Mitchell. I really do. You know what I'm saying? I really did. I love this tape. I thought the kid had great feet, had good instincts. But then you got people calling me, telling me the reason he jumped in the portal is because the coach said he doesn't have great instincts. I'm like, what? Like, that's what that's all his tape was great instincts in my personal opinion, right? This is one of the guys I was high on when they signed him. And I'm not really high on Ohio State guys. Because you decided to go to Ohio State. So that just is what it is. So, but there's more to come. And word on the street is that Devontae Davis might be leaving. That's what I've heard. Devontae Davis might be leaving as well. So he might be in the portal. So be on the lookout for that.
So let me ask you this. Would you, in this world today, be the coach that'll be different from everybody else and go find those not so highly touted high school guys and still commit to that because you see the longevity? And that's another thing, like I always talked about with Dawson Odoms, the program. Yeah. I'll take being down 2 years knowing that I'm developing that next group of guys. But while I'm developing that next group of guys, you know what I'm also doing? I'm creating a locker room culture.
Yeah.
I'm creating something here. So with these transfers in and out, you can't really create culture with that. They're coming and going. So would you be the coach willing to set aside from everything and say, hey, I'm still going to take my chances and understand it's going to take the rebuild in years? Or are you the coach where I'm looking for the instant success if I can find it, because there's plenty of names out there that I can add to my roster right now, short term or long term for you?
I think the majority of my team would be the portal because I got to have some stability, right? Have competition, right? Like, so let me tell you predominantly where I will be building my team: O-lineman, portal, defense and offensive O-lineman in the portal. I don't have time for high school kids, and maybe I'll get a one or twosies or whatever, kind of grow them in, but I'm portaling my.
You said something perfect. I don't have time.
Yeah, I don't have the time.
That's the mindset of the game today.
Yeah, I don't have time to build my O-line and hope you go to the weight room and get bigger and all that. I don't have that time. I don't have that type of time. So the O-line and D-line is where I would be predominantly portal. Quarterback, I'm going to the portal, but I will always have a high school kid in the wings that I think is talented. Linebacker, yeah. I mean, I see why people are getting it, because I want the body type, right? Like, I need the kids with the body type. I need a kid with the bruises and who been in the college weight room and all that type of stuff. Where I would develop is my wide receivers and DBs, right? That's where I would develop a lot of my talent. I would develop a lot of my talent if I was a Ohio State, if I was a Grambling, if I was a Southern. I would develop a lot of my skill players from high school, right? That's how I would get down. I would take a lot of flyers on a lot of kids. Like, so I would take a flyer on a tight end that was 6'6" and turn him into an O-lineman. You see what I'm saying? Like, you got to get very creative in how you find certain positions and certain key players and all that type of stuff. You got to figure it out. So I get it, but I still think, like, if a kid has a lot of potential, I think that's the stuff that I would really try to develop. If I see a lot of potential in the high school kid, or I think he might have something, I would try to get him on the field early and have it. And that's the catch-22, because you can be in South Carolina State where you got Jawan Howell, who's a freshman running back who kills it the last 5 games, and now he's at South Carolina.
And that's why coaches like, you know what, I ain't finna develop his ass, because you ain't finna take this and go off somewhere, bro, and not give back, and that's the game that we live in today, man. And that's it's so tough, bro.
I think
it's so tough.
The only thing I would ask of the NCAA when it comes to the portal, because I love the portal, right? I love it. Is you got to shorten the window. Like, these kids got to make a decision. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't. I can't have 3 windows. It's two portal windows. After the season and before the season. That's all you get.
Yeah, they jumping in after the season, doing a Christmas break, then going somewhere for the spring, and then after the spring, I'm gone again. Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a graduate, cool, do what you do. But if you're not a graduate, you can only come in after the season and before this. That's it. It ain't. I'm not opening all. I'm not opening all these windows like portals. I'm not doing all that.
You can go to 3 schools, damn near in 3 semesters.
It's ridiculous.
Coming out of the fall, going in the spring, then go to another school in the fall. You can go to 3 schools in 3 semesters.
That's ridiculous. I mean, like I said, I would never take away the ability to choose. I love it, right? I love the opportunity. But
how is this going to kill APR or something? I mean, I guess I need to dig a little deeper. I don't even know how this affects APR. Is that a thing with these cats coming and going? It used to matter about the graduation rate of the student athletes. Like, if a guy comes into my program for a semester and then he dips, I mean, what is that? I don't know how that works these days. And I know HBCUs, we have dealt with APR issues and scholarship reduction and no spring practice and postseason bans and everything that comes with it. How does this ultimately trickle down to that?
Yeah, I got you. Let me see. How can I get this to him? Hold on. I got Zoe told me to drop the link for him, but I'm trying to. He on the Android. I don't know how to get it to the Android.
Oh, he want to show his face.
Let me see. How do I get this link to him? Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna text it to you. Oh, I just take it off Perry's. Yeah, I'm taking off when I text you, Perry. All right, let me see. All right. All right, I just gave it to him, so hopefully he can jump on. And while we wait for Perry Zoe to get on, listen, you talk about something that you talk about a highlight of my day. Oh, this was a highlight.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
What happened?
Man, look, I'm not fooling with this dude because he did Southern the same way.
Oh yeah, he did do y'all the same way.
PV not the first school. When he left UCA, he said he was committed to Southern. Then he left Southern and went to Montana. So hey, he doing the SWAC any kind of way. He literally did the same thing to Southern. And guess what? We got to see him the first game of the season because Southern plays McNeese in game 1 at McNeese.
So I just got a text. Somebody said my source told me McNeese offered him $50,000.
That's what's up.
Go get your money, young man. Go get your money.
Up. I guess Southern. All we offered him was some boudin balls and red beans and rice, and he was like, "I'm straight on that."
I'm good on it. But what I heard from PV is that it was a last minute, like the visit wasn't that didn't go that well because it was like a last minute thing. They were just kind of putting things together. You know how ninjas go ninja. You know how that go. Ninjas go ninja. But PV fans was calling it heavy. Oh yeah, we got Clifton. Oh Scotty, you hating all that? What happened?
What made everybody jump to that so quick? I saw articles. I saw all of this. So what made everybody jump to conclusions? So who spilled this for this to turn out the way they're thinking he was going to PV? How did that happen?
They said he verbally committed. That's what everybody was going around. He verbally committed, and Bubba. They said Bubba McDowell said he had verbally committed to go to PV.
So this came directly from the coach.
That's what the Twitter thing was. The thing that was going around Twitter was telling me. It was like,
okay,
hey,
because I was trying to figure how did that spread, because it spread like wildfire. Everybody was like, oh, just got this kid from Montana, and just started to roll with it. And then you looked around, it was like the yolk in your face now. Oh, he's going to McNeese, so. But he did us the same way. He did Southern the same way.
What happened, Lionel? Like, what happened, Lionel? You was all, oh, McDowell. It's like McDonald's, but it's McDowell. You know what I'm saying? 2 patties, special sauce.
So, 2 all beef patties.
2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, tomatoes, and pickles, onions. You know what I'm saying? On a sesame seed bun.
See, we don't use the sesame seeds. Yeah, McDonald's use the sesame. At McDowell's, we don't use the sesame seeds.
You know what I'm saying? So
little things.
It's the little things, man. Y'all. Back to them trash quarterbacks. Y'all thought y'all had it. Y'all thought y'all had it. I thought PV had that long money.
Who told you that?
That's what somebody said. PV got that. They said PV got that long money.
PV getting white folks money from the Texas A&M system. It ain't necessarily. They got to call and ask. It's like having joint accounts. Hey, can I get $20 today? And it's only.
Can you? I gotta check it in the savings.
Yeah, you just can't go in anytime you want. You got to call and say, "Hey, can I get to?" And they either gonna tell you yes or no. Then I just give you $20 last week, so they at the mercy of Texas A&M. So they can get money because Texas A&M got money, but that's like they say, your parents' money ain't your money.
Yeah. Like,
what did that? I got money. You ain't got no damn money. I got money. Every now and again, you can come ask me for some money. You know, I may get you a little car or something, but no, I got money. That's Prairie View.
That's funny. Oh man, look what we got. What's up, big dog? That boy working.
Hey, look how he come on. He like, hey.
No, I would do. That's why the sweat, dog.
Oh, you need one of these, baby. That towel, baby.
That boy working.
They gonna do no good. Live at work. Nah, man. Go ahead.
Talk to us. What is the day in the life of a Pothole State fan right now? What y'all over there? What the mass meetings talking about? I haven't been over there. Y'all haven't lost anything recently, so I haven't gone over there.
So we haven't lost anything. What's Pothole State at mass meetings? I mean, it's just a platform. That's all it is. But now JSU. Now so far this spring, man, we look good. Still got some question marks, like like a lot of other few teams. You know, nothing is final. Look, nobody is what they're going to be come August, September. And so it's safe to say we all got question marks and we all got a lot to see going forward. But so far as it stands right now, I mean, we're sitting pretty. Like I said, even without being a Jackson State fan, I could just look at it logically. We had a first-time coach, lost over 50-some players, from the previous team. You come into his first season, you go 7-4. Then you end of that season, you go with what you return back on both sides of the ball. You bring back your kicking game was horrible. You bring back both kickers plus an additional one. Leilani is giving up soccer and she's going to be kicking as well. So you got all your kickers back, long snapper back, punter back, return. Probably have the most experienced team come back in the conference, and we finished 7-4. So all you gonna do is add to it.
First of all,
say sitting pretty. So what does that mean? That's contention for the SWAC East. Is sitting pretty mean Jackson State? We're gonna kind of put them at the forefront as the front runner for SWAC East.
Do a pastor know his word?
That's what church you go to.
If you TD,
no. I said they know their word. They might not live by it, but they know.
Listen, okay, let's keep it a buck. Y'all was preaching 9-2. Is that not what you said?
Yeah. Well, I said. Did I say 9-2 last year?
9-2. Don't play with me.
No. I'm not gonna say that I didn't. I'm saying I can't remember. I was like 92, 83, somewhere in there. I can remember exactly.
I said 7-4. I was the truth teller in this.
I know I did say 7-4, but I can remember. But hold on. But let me go on record right now. I am saying, if everything comes like I think it do, health wise, I say 9-2 is worse for this season.
Oh, get out of here! So okay,
good. Pull up Jackson State schedule.
I surely can. I surely
can. Hey, 9-2.
Come on, man.
I don't know. So I got to look at this because you said for the record, though. This for the record. So
all
right.
What y'all got coming in? Damn. What y'all? what pipeline y'all? Y'all don't want to speak on it.
I mean, it's not a matter of what we got coming in. This is what we have returning as well. I mean,
y'all.
Okay. Let's pop it off. ULM, that's a loss. Can we?
No, it's not.
Let him do it, Scotty.
Okay. Go ahead, Zoe. Go ahead. ULM.
So ULM. This will be the SWAC's first win against a Sunbelt opponent.
We'll give you Lane.
Let me get to hold on before people think, oh, it's crazy. Let's use rationale. So this is very similar to Coach Prime's first year. ULM has a first-time coach who's never been a coach before. Go look at their roster. The majority of their roster came from Mississippi JUCOs. Jackson State has the better roster. I mean, I know on paper we're going to look at FBS opponent, but go look. I implore everybody, go look at the roster, man to man, and look at Jackson State roster. Our roster is actually better.
Okay. So we
ain't been a Jackson fan.
Okay, but we know SWAC teams don't care about out of conference opponents anyway. So let's just whatever. So we'll skip over these two. It don't matter because y'all.
No, give him every right for the record. Give him every right for the record.
Lane.
You're gonna love to come back to this.
Oh, my man Perry. This my country cousin from Arkansas. Right on, buddy. So look, we're gonna beat ULM. We have the most experienced team, and unlike Prime. You know what I'm saying? TC is coming into his second season with the team that he knows. And we have to have something for continuity from year 1 to year 2. We can't just sweep that under the rug. And again, they're in a different position. First-time coach has never been a head coach, new staff. And again, this is a completely different roster than what they had last season. So all intents and purposes, this game favors Jackson State. Now, Lane, look, that's WC going classic. We got that. We're sitting at 2-0. All right. Then we got Jigga City State, you know what I'm saying, coming up next after Lane College. I mean, we're on 3-4 game winning streak against Southern. And again, I think Southern has a good roster, but because it's our second year, because of how we transitioned from last year to this year, I'm going to give the edge to us. And I only say that because I think it'll be different because Southern doesn't know what they have being this Terrence Gray's first year. I'm going to say this before I even go forward. I think the SWAC has a lot of talented teams, but to your point earlier, Perry, it's going to come down to quarterback play. And fortunately, Jackson State has one of the few quarterbacks that played last season with experienced time. And we have that with the continuity of the players that we had from last season. Now I think, Biden and they have a few other players. Southern has a talented roster. But again, it's one thing to get players in through the portal, but Southern biggest issue, I think, and we learned firsthand, you can get O-linemen out that portal. The hardest thing is getting them to jail. And if you're struggling on the O-line right now, it's harder. That's the biggest question mark to know what you got going into the season. Now, being that we know what we have on the O-line and we should be actually pretty good, I'm going to give us the edge in that game. So we're sitting at 3-0. Now, Grambling. We got Grambling on the road. And if I have to say a good game we probably could lose, I'm going to use Grambling and say that's probably a game that we may lose. I'm going to tell you why. Grambling, unlike any other school that we play, in Grambling, it's a house of horrors for Jackson State. It is. It's a house of horrors for Jackson State. And it's not so much that we have the better team, because a lot of times you can have the better team, but certain teams you just don't match up well with. And again, I did say 9-2, so I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to go undefeated because I said we're going to be 9-2. And Grambling is just a loss I could actually see. I really looked at that game as being a toss-up. But I'm going to say this one we'll probably lose. So I'm going to say my losses are more or less toss-ups. So go ahead and move the screen up. Who we got next?
All right.
Texas Southern, you going to keep moving. Alabama A&M, you going to keep moving. We ain't got to say nothing about that.
Okay.
All right. Now, FAMU in Jackson. You know what I'm saying? This right here is going to be a deuce. We waiting on this one. They lost too much. And I'm praying, sweet baby Jesus, let Junior Maritovis be the starting quarterback when they come to Jackson. And so, again, they finally did, clip us in Miami. But I don't know if y'all noticed, man, the last time we played them in Jackson and the last time we played them in Tallahassee, it's a dub for the city. So we're going to continue that thread. It's going to be a dub. I don't even think the game, I think it may be close. I think we'll probably get them by 10. Bethune-Cookman. Now, I'm going to be the only person in any platform to say, this game worries me. This game truly does worry me. Now, I know you may say, well, we got all these other teams that we play. Why does this game worry you? Because, man, Bethune-Cookman actually have solid players. They got a damn good defense. And they had a lot of injuries themselves last year. And, again, continuity. They didn't have a good season last year, but you got to look what they did on the recruiting staff, on the staff front, and continuity. I think we'll get this game, but closer than what people think. Pine Bluff, we can keep on moving. That oh Lord, they don't beat us 5 times in the history. We bathed in holy water. Go on, move past that. Alabama State.
You remember them?
I mean, yeah, I remember them. They were like, hold on. Let's talk about this game. Y'all talk about this Alabama State beating us like they thrashed us or something. We actually lost because we had a lot of self-inflicted turnovers this particular game.
So
and the game could have.
The self-inflicted. I hate when
leave him alone, Scotty. Leave him alone.
All right, go ahead.
Leave him alone.
Hold on. We had 2 self-inflicted fumbles now in that game when we were driving. Now 2 were caused by hits. We had 5 fumbles that game. I said 2 were caused by hits. That's not self-inflicted. I said we had 2 self-inflicted. All we need is 1 score to win that game. All we need is 1 score to win that game. We had 2 self-inflicted fumbles in that game. We win that game. So anyway, but it's a dub. It's a dub. It's gonna be a beautiful thing. Now I'll say that. So by my accounts, we're sitting at what? That's 9-1 by my account, right?
So this got to be loss number 2.
It's got to be number
so
1.
I just said, and I'll give a season end the loss to Alcorn. We sit at 9-2 and win the Swag East.
Why so much respect on Alcorn and Cedric Thomas?
I mean, well, I had to just pick another loss. It ain't no respect.
What the?
I just had to pick one.
Listen.
Now, truth be told, hold on. Truth be told, I really did want to go schedule my schedule, but I say 9-2. Number one, it's hard to go undefeated on any level of field, and I don't believe we're gonna go undefeated anyway. I mean, it's too hard to do so. But then you figure you're going to get clipped once in the season regardless, despite whoever it is that you may think it is. But it's hard to get up for every game, and a lot of teams get up to play Jack State as well. But that's why I say at worst, look, we were 7-4 last year, so the worst we're going to do is be 7-4. So if you want to gauge it anywhere between 10-1 and 8-3, I figure we fall somewhere in the middle, 9-2. There go your sweet spot.
I think this is a great season for y'all because you guys don't play PV. In this schedule, Texas Southern's on a rebound. And listen, I think a lot of these teams are on a rebound. I think it's a great schedule to have. Southern's on a rebound, Gramblin's on a rebound.
Texas Southern's
on a rebound. FAMU.
Also to Perry's point, if you actually go through that schedule, look at all the teams that we play. Which one of the teams that we played returned a starting quarterback?
Alabama State. Who has started Alabama State, and that's pretty much and
Grambling. That's it. And Grambling. That's it.
Yeah, with Miles.
That's it.
I really. This is the thing for me. Offensively, we do not know what you are other than Irv Mulligan. We know what Jacoby and Morgan can be because if we look at the Texas Southern game can show you what Jacoby and Morgan can be and what he cannot be in the same, right? The Alabama State game that Jacoby and Morgan played, it can show you what Jacoby and Morgan can be and what he cannot be. Running over Bubba and using him in that red zone and situations like that, you see those type of situations as well. My thing is always going to be your wide receiver room. What does that look like? Because last year it wasn't good. It just wasn't good. It wasn't utilized. You could say it wasn't utilized properly. You could say it wasn't talented. It was not good. And I want to know what that looks like going forward. We already know what Irv Mulligan is. We know what Aubrey Miller's brother. He's a great running back as well. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know where these losses are coming from, but I'll tell you 2 off the rip is Alabama and FAMU. I don't think you beat Alabama State, nor do you beat FAMU. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 8-3, 7-4. I'm gonna be there with 7-4, 8-3, and you might be tied or you might be second again. But
now, to answer your question about the receivers, you know, when you make your question, I'll get to you asked that, but I'll say you have to ask the why. Right. So if you say, you didn't see much for them, I'll get to the why you didn't see much for them. It's not a thing about them not being good. I just think, again, when you have inconsistent play at quarterback, then that justifies the results where you get from our receivers or a lack thereof. So again, I think when granted, I can sit here and say going forward, yes, that's something that needs to be proven, that needs to be seen. where you can say, okay, we didn't see that last year. So you have to envision, okay, well, if Jackson State were to get consistent quarterback play, what does that look like from the wide receivers? And so that'll be the thing that has to be answered, which that could be a legit question. But I go to the why you didn't see what you saw last year. But I can answer that and say, well, if you have inconsistent play at quarterback, then that translates to why you don't see the production at wide receiver. And that is a good question going to the season that needs to be answered. But again, I'll say, hey, seeing what I'm seeing, if we see consistent play and you see the results, then that question get answered. But I just say again, I think Jacobian, his ceiling for what it can be, and what we've seen, again, the offense is different. And we have capability in the wide receiver room. Our wide receiver room is actually nice. But again, we got to see the production. Seeing that practice is one thing. We got to get it to translate during games.
I'll tell you straight up, that ULM game is a loss. So that's already a loss. I ain't even about to argue on that one.
Okay.
Southern and Grambling.
Oh, no, let me ask you this. So Jackson State, and I'm glad that game's on Thursday. Okay, truth serve. Jackson State wins that game. What does that do for you?
I trust your trenches. Because that's really the difference. That's really all this game is going to come down to.
That's all I'm asking. Jackson State wins that game. What does that do for you?
I trust your trench play going forward. I say, okay, their trench play is legit. It's either offensive line wise or defensive line wise. They're nice. Now, how Jacobian Morgan plays is how he plays, right? Because I'll give you a perfect example. You called it perfectly. You said you came on and said we going you was in the chat. We gonna kill South Carolina State. Jason Brown gonna throw for over 300 yards. That's exactly what it did. But the way it looked, I knew it was a problem. That could not be consistent. And the way he played, I'm like, there's a lot of people running wide open. It's a lot of short stuff that went long. It just, if you watch the game, you can see the flaws in the offense. So to me, it's the same thing with ULM. If you beat ULM, I will give you credit on the trench play, because I'm assuming that's where half the battle is going to come from. How it looks outside of that is anybody's guess. You could return a fumble for a touchdown. You could bobble a punt. You could block a punt and return it for a touchdown and win games, right? So it's how the game goes from there. But just to hold your own, I will have to give credit for your trench play.
Okay, so now you say you give credit to the trench play. Jackson wins that game. What does that do for your outlook when you say, okay, Jackson won the game and the trench play was better than what I thought? What does that do regards your outlook?
So I'm isolate it down, then I'm gonna work out. For the trench play, I'm like, you can only be competitive with Jackson if you got the trench play, right? Like that's half the battle, because if they can move you, if they can make it hard, that y'all have done for the past, when those Deion years and the D-line and blitz and all that, if all that works, I'm like, if you can't block it, you can't stop it, right? If you can't block it, you can't stop it. So I will give you that. But on the outside, if I don't see it look, I'm like, hey, well, it's like, make them do something different, right? So if, let's say you go into the ULM game and y'all run for 196 and Jacobian Morgan goes 10 or 15 for 130 and a touchdown. Hey, listen, stop the run. You see what I'm saying? He'll probably be back on. You got to stop the run. Listen, I want to be very clear. Football is a all-encompassing aspect of it, right? You can isolate certain positions to say, hey, how did this work and how this did not work, right? But overall, you got to see the whole scheme. So what I was saying, Zoe, is, if you run for 196, 200 yards, and Jacobian Morgan throws for 120 and a touchdown, and he goes 10 or 12, or 10 or 15, I'm like, well, you see what you got to do. You got to stop the run. But as the season goes along, then I can see if you guys are multifaceted. So if somebody stops the run, you pass, and we'll get all to that. But overall, if you guys beat ULM, I know most of it is you got to block it up, because they're going to have more depth than you, right? So it's just like you got to be able to block it up. So I'm gonna give you kudos for what the situation was. But I'll tell you this: I'll go back to the Texas State situation, right? A lot of y'all were just happy you scored 30 points. Oh, you see how many points we put up on Texas State? Oh, we scored 35, 45.
Who was a lot of y'all? Who was a lot of y'all?
Just saying. I'm just saying, so it was a lot of, we put up points against Texas State, even though they put up 90. They put 90 on your head. You got 35. We got 30 out of that. Ooh, you see that strong 35? So, I mean, you can take something away from any game, but if you guys beat ULM, I'll be like, that trench play. That trench play. If it's all if you put in the chat, if was a fifth, it's all if. I like that kingdom activation that you're doing though. When you already seeing it as so. I like that. That's that kingdom activation. But I say not so. I say not so.
Will TC be on the hot seat if Jackson State does not win the East?
No.
No.
Okay.
I would say
what would happen to get TC on the hot seat?
What would have to happen? I would say
a
6 or 5 on a losing record. Yeah,
6 losing record. That's how I would go. But and for what I've heard, TC, I mean Zoe, you can you can either confirm or deny however y'all want to play it. I heard TC is the play caller, the offensive coordinator for this season.
Well, as of the spring game, it was.
Okay.
But I mean, but no, when it comes to the what's gonna take to give him a hot seat, man. TC got seat cushions on right now, dog. We good. Like I said, 9-2. At worst, we're gonna be 8-3. We were 7-4 last year, and like I said, we got the probably the most returners on both sides of the ball in the conference. Yeah.
It's not like okay, y'all went 7-4 last year. I'm looking at these games. You lost to Texas State, lost to FAM, lost to Alabama State,
and Alcorn,
and almost lost to Texas Southern, and lost to Alcorn.
Well, hold on. We should have beat Alabama State, and we should have beat. We should have beat. Actually, probably should have beat Alcorn too.
And you should have lost to Bethune-Cookman. I want to be very clear. That game, you should have lost that game as well.
But you do know when you say we should have lost. I got games we should have won too.
I mean, the only game y'all know for flat out y'all should have won is FAMU. The only game that y'all just got beat down was FAMU. Now you can say, "Oh, Scotty, they didn't score after a certain." Listen, Musa was just missing.
I never said that we lost. It was what we lost the game.
Let me ask you this though: if you had to circle best position to worst position on this team, now what would it be?
Best position would be D-line. Worst position right now would be linebacker group. And that's a carryover for last. Yeah, D-line, and that's a carryover from last season.
Jeremiah, Devontae. Okay. I mean, to me, you could say your D-line was good last year, but the edge rushers were atrocious.
But again, I'm behind the curtain. It's what we're doing from a scheme standpoint and what we did on defense last year to what we asked for. And so again, I say, and when I say worse, I'm still saying as of last season, because as it stands right now, linebacker play, I feel like we upgraded. But again, me saying that means nothing until the games are played and you actually see it. From a talent standpoint, we have upgraded. But again, it has to be shown on the field. So me saying, like right now, oh, we have this, that, and the third means absolutely nothing until the game is played and you actually see the results from it. You see what I'm saying? And so even
from not last season, from what you saw with the spring. That's why I'm asking right now. Coming out.
Best
and worst. Last year.
I still okay. Linebacker play is we've upgraded and we look better, but I still say it's the worst. Not from what we have, but again because me seeing it at practice is one thing. They're good. That's the worst thing that I see. Right. And I don't mean like they're not good. I'm saying I got to see it translated into a game because there's still uncertainty there. But when I talk about what I've seen in the spring, the best would be D-line. And I mean, that means from the tackles and the ends. From a schematic standpoint, we're doing things different. Huh?
They nasty?
Oh, yeah. Our D-line is nice. D-line is nice. Edge rusher we got from Western Michigan. It's going to be first team all sweat. He's a dog. And Jeremiah is Jeremiah. I mean, we still got what we're doing up the middle. We were formidable, saying what we had the D tackle position. But from an end, granted, we didn't have the results from the pass rush because of what we were asking them to do. I think we're gonna have a better year out of Phillip Webb this year. Again, we're seeing, what they're asking the DNs to do now. We're gonna gather the quarterback. So we're gonna actually generate pressure. Our issue on defense was the second level was not there. It's point blank period. We had no second level defense. It was first level, free safety. That's it. And so, but again, for anybody watching, no, I don't think that the linebacker core is the worst of the group, but just in relation to the back end, because the back end is still the same from what we had last year. We led the nation in interceptions. All that's back, and they still look the same up to par. But the linebacker play, for as good as they look, or I think they are, I got to see it against ULM and Lane. Because again, if it doesn't translate, we don't see it, then we're right back where we started.
Listen,
I'm waiting.
I'm listen. You talking about somebody's gonna be? I don't even know. You said it's on a Thursday. I don't know how to catch that game, but you best believe I'm going to be watching that ULM game because I gotta see. Because to me, it's just as much as hype that y'all got on it. Because like you said, you called. Listen, I'll give you that, boy. You called that game like easy peasy. You was like, South Carolina State, this is what we're gonna do, blah, 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 blah. And even in the win, I saw your flaws. So to me, even in this loss to ULM, I'm going to see what you really are and what you're not. And the only hard thing about it is the D line, right? Because there's probably going to be some old linemen at ULM that SWAC teams just don't got. You know what I'm saying? So that part,
actually, I disagree. If you actually know, that's not true. Go look at I'm telling you, when you get done with this call, go look at their roster. Go look at the O-linemen that they have. Now, the one thing we can say they have, if you want to go to depth, but their O-line, I'm telling you, our roster is better than that.
Okay, let me go to the schedule that they had last year. They lost to Texas State 20-21 last year. You lost to Texas State 77 to 30 something. Okay.
And guess what? Hold on. Guess what? And that team, those players that lost that game, they aren't there. That's what I'm telling you. Half of that team is gone. That's what I'm telling you. Go look at their roster. Look, more than half. They have literally. I'm not exaggerating. They have about 58 players, bro, from Mississippi JUCOs. Trust me, what I'm telling you. Go look at it. You will be astounded. And you'll be like, my damn.
Yeah, I see Mississippi Gulf Coast, East Mississippi, Fort Union Military Academy.
It's not a typical FBS roster. So we match up evenly well with them. I'm telling you.
I see what you're talking about.
I just got one question. Is the band going?
For sure.
Okay, that's all I got.
It's 2 dubs. It's 2 dubs.
Huh?
It's 2 dubs. So when we win, because again, the one thing I wanted to see from this spring was to see the maturation of Jacobian, and Jacobian has gotten better from last season. The one thing that stands out, man, watch how the ball comes out of his hands now, and he's running a whole lot better. But again, this is a different offense than what we ran last year as well. We have what we have at the running back room. Again, what's unproven is wide receiver play. We're going to use Jency a lot. He's a weapon at tight end. We're going to utilize our tight ends in this offense. We talked about it a whole lot last year, and they never got utilized. It just was what it was. But again, the one thing that we have to see, because the big question mark is going to be production at wide receiver play. But I can also correlate to that as the success that Jacobian has throwing the ball. It's going to correlate to how well the wide receivers play for this season.
Me personally, I'll give you a lot. I just think it's going to come down to the coaching against ULM. I think a lot of times when we play against those teams, we do have talent, right? But can your coach make the adjustments with the X's and O's when time is needed? Is Jackson State disciplined enough when it comes down not getting penalties, the silly shit, the false starts, the unsportsmanlike, the shit that typically kills us in those type of games?
As the first game. Now, here's the thing. You're absolutely right. But here's what I raise you. The difference between in the normality in this game is that this is the first time coach for them. Never been a head coach before. And if you look at their staff, he doesn't even have a really, really good proven head coach on his staff as well. Go look at the staff. I forget his name, but he's a first-time head coach. Never been a head coach before. So that plays into it too. So the thing, we have continuity on our side. They don't. So this game, so like it mirrors Prime's first year, but the difference was Terry Bowden was the head coach. Very seasoned head coach. Prime wasn't, right? And we still probably had a really good chance to win that game. The difference is they have an unproven first-time head coach. We have continuity on our side.
Bryant Vincent is his name.
What's his background?
Says he has a strong leadership and expertise in creating powerful offensive schemes in college football. Most recently served as the offensive coordinator of New Mexico, University of New Mexico, during the 2023 season when they had a crazy year with the running back from Alabama State that left and went up there and had like the 17th Ja'Cory Merritt. So, and it says the Lobos earned the nation's top ranking in red zone offense, rushing offense with Ja'Cory Merritt to a record-breaking season. The New Mexico running back, first Lobo to ever have back-to-back 200-yard rushing games and finish 17 rushing touchdowns. Prior to New Mexico, he was at UAB with Bill Clark when they went 7-6. Vincent is no stranger to the Sun Belt Conference. Spent 6 years at South Alabama with the Jacksonville.
I'm not impressed with none of that shit. New Mexico.
Hey, New Mexico was fire last year, bro.
Zo don't seem to
fire last year. So, we'll see. I'd say this.
But to your but again, to your point, Pierre, you're right. I can't dispel any of that because you're right. But like I said, the different nuance in this is that typically in that scenario, it's a first game, so we can't dispel that, and that means it's going to probably be junky for both teams, right? But also, typically it's like, okay, we really on our end will have to play an extra clean game to give us a chance. But the different dichotomy is on the other side, we have a roster that more than match up. I'm talking about trench-wise, skill players, the whole nine. But this is his first game ever. Never been a head coach before. We had a coach with a first year at this belt. They got to count for something.
If Jackson State win that game, I'll make a donation to Jackson State.
Congratulations.
Because I don't see it. The Jackson, you say be the first school, the SWAC to be the
first SWAC school, to be the Sun Belt team.
And I don't like y'all, okay? But I'll make a
the
donation on behalf of the conference from Southern University if y'all beat ULM and become the first SWAC school to beat a Sun Belt team.
It might go the same way last season. Zoe right about the first game and then lose all the rest. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
But we ain't lose all the rest though.
You show lost 4 of them.
I tell you what. After we beat ULM, you're gonna be telling me I need to give me a 1-900 number. I tell you that.
Look, if they beat ULM, I look at the rest of the schedule like shit. They might as well roll it out. What team you gonna say can match up with ULM?
I wouldn't blame you for having that feeling.
Yeah,
no, I definitely wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't go on that route.
Trust me. Look, we could beat 2 FBS teams. I know you ain't gonna go down that path.
You beat 2 FBS teams, I'll be like, damn. But it's just the way, like you always say, it's the way the SWAC is. Somebody's gonna catch you slipping on one game.
Well, not the SWAC. I mean, any level. It's hard to go undefeated. I don't think people understand it. It's hard to go undefeated. I mean, it just is. It is. But I'm telling y'all, man, look, you can clip this right here. Zoe came in here and the guy that posted uniform. Look, I'm using y'all as my lunch break. So I'm telling you right now, first SWAC dub with the good Sunbelts. Go come to them good old folks in Jew City.
All right, I'm gonna bring this back. I'm gonna bring this back up, and I'm gonna say this: the first 3 games, 1-3. You and Juan gonna be real nice. 1-3.
Bro,
that's what
you know what's got it. You better keep on. You sound like you're trying to convince yourself. You know damn well we ain't losing nobody to the defenders of the Sissy Blue and Yellow. You know doggone well we not losing no doggone stuff.
Hey, bro, don't be disrespectful like I'm not right.
Hold on. Did you just say you didn't like me?
I've been trying to be sensible and very professional today, but now You poking now.
Did
Come
you
on
just
now.
say you didn't like me? You just say you didn't like me. You my country cousin from Arkansas.
You my country cousin from Mississippi.
So I'm saying.
All right, then.
But you know, man, look, you know we're not losing to Southern, dog. Come on.
Man, how you know that?
Perry.
You know
Perry.
how you know that?
Perry, do you know what you have? Come on now.
Hey, shit can change. Then you just say shit can change. It's a lot of shit can change. There's a lot of time between now and August, and then we see y'all in September. Come on, man.
Where's the game at?
It's in Jackson. It ain't no.
Yeah.
Oh, don't you start that. How many times have y'all seen us in Jackson over the past 10 years?
You know what? I can't think back past 4 years. I ain't lost to you since. I can't think back that far.
Amnesia before.
I'm 45.
Oh, it really sets in. Oh, that amnesia.
Hey man, I have great short-term memory.
Oh, somebody give him an Advil. Oh.
Hey, I have great short-term memory. I can't think back past 5 years ago.
I'm sure you can't, because y'all wouldn't dare get on nobody's show talking about Jackson State 5 years ago, talking about anything Jackson State don't win nothing.
I mean, but you know, hey, you know what?
You didn't care about what was doing. And what was the other two blues looking singers y'all had?
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. Now you off Arkansas, you sound like a real prime Dallas Cowboy fan right now. You talking about old stuff. You talking about old back yonder. But you sound like a Cowboy. You sound like a Cowboy fan. You talking about prehistoric history. Oh, why do we have to cherry pick to that one time when we were bad, like 4 years ago?
One time.
I'm saying the last time.
Y'all was bad for damn near a decade, bro. It took COVID to bring.
Hold on. Now answer my question. When was that?
You finally got straight in the in the fall of 2021.
What year is it right now, Scotty? What year is it right now?
I asked you how many times have we won and how many times have you seen us lose in Jackson as well?
Hey man, look, let me tell you something. Perry Mason had a wonderful show. Perry Mason had a wonderful show. He had a famous quote. You know what he used to always say? I rest my case.
They pick and choose, Scotty. They pick and
How am I picking this? How am I picking today? I'm picking this present moment right now. How am I picking the two?
All y'all think about is prime to now, but then you'll hold everybody.
I ain't said nothing about Deion Sanders. I have said nothing about Deion Sanders. All I thought about TC Taylor.
Without saying that you using years without having to use it. I see how you turning it and playing it.
I'm not turning anything.
4 years.
I'm going in chronological order. Right here today, right now.
Okay. Well, Deion,
I'm living in this moment. I'm where my feet are.
Y'all just started y'all football program in 2021. It ain't nothing before that.
Hey, I tell you what, then. Hold on. Now I'm gonna go. I ain't want to do this, but since Perry, you want to go back to the past. No, that's fine. So, Scotty, do you know how long Southern been in the SWAC? Southern joined the SWAC in the 1920s. Jackson State and Grambling joined the same year, which happens to be 1955. Ask me why Southern only got one more championship than Jackson State.
I just want to know how you remember that.
With a 30-year run.
For 4 years now, you taking me to.
I'm just saying. I choose not. No. The difference is.
Remember the 20s and 30s.
No, the difference is I live in the current moment. I live in the current moment.
In the past 10 years, how many times has Southern lost there? You said I can only remember 4 years, but then you just took me to damn.
I'm just saying. I'm where my feet are. I'm where my feet are, Perry. Why can't you do the same?
I can't believe you went to the 20s on my ass.
I'm just saying. Scotty. What day is? Hold on. Today is April 16th, 2020, in the year of our Lord, 2024. Where is Southern right now, and how they doing?
They're not doing so well.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
I mean, even with the Dooley years, and now look, we were still right there. I mean, that just lets you know, we not down.
What's right there?
Like we just trash.
What's right there?
What y'all was for them years after that 13 loss in the championship to us. Y'all was trash for years until you.
But hold on. So since y'all was so good, what do you have to show for it?
I didn't say we were so good. I'm saying we still better than the vast majority of the squad.
Okay. So even if you were better, what do you have to show for being better?
What do you want?
I got time. The truth.
We got winning records.
But what do you have to show? That's it. Oh, you got winning records. What hardware do you have to show for it? Because that's what we play for.
Bro, that's my point. That prime shit got y'all. So yeah,
I ain't
congratulations.
said
But did
I
you?
ain't said about
Okay,
this.
all right. Give you that. Y'all won the swag, but did you win the Celebration Bowl?
No, we did not. Oh no. Hold on. No. Say it. Hold on. But say that one more time. We did what? Because we did win the swag 2 years in a
I
row.
give you
We didn't
that.
win the Celebration Bowl.
Congratulations. Like, I'm not knocking what y'all didn't do. We played y'all for a swag championship. So we was there as well. Regardless, y'all won. But I'm just saying, you talking to Southern like we've been out here like Valley or something, like we just some pushover, like we Alabama A&M or something. Come on, bro. We still been right there.
Okay.
Even
No, now when y'all got there, y'all back those y'all were in that. So it ain't like y'all was just kicking ass to get there.
You backed. I stand with that.
I can't help the fact that Texas Southern beat on
Oh,
everybody. And I can't help the fact that Prairie View and your boy Bubba McDowell didn't get the job done. We beat Grambling and we got into the championship. Once again, we were in the championship, so I'm just saying,
but
like,
you back
we
those your way
still
in.
right there.
You
Y'all,
moonwalked into that thing. But you moonwalked into that thing.
we was in the championship. I don't give a damn how you get there. You get in there.
You move.
A championship game is a championship game, regardless of how you get there and who gets there. Right?
Okay.
FAMU was at home, one thing.
Okay.
With the second best record in the conference. That ain't my fault that the conference is set up the way. When I come on here and talk about no divisions, everybody say you're crazy. We need the division. Well, that's why they was in there.
Your name not Parody Shocker. It ain't my fault. But y'all back those your way in that thing now. So
I'm
it
just
wasn't like
saying,
you
I'm
know.
talking
You
about
said
we
no.
was
You
hard.
said
Like when y'all
no.
was at y'all worst, y'all was at your worst. Like y'all was bad. Like even at our worst, we still right there knocking at the door. That's what I'm saying. So I get what you trying to go with it. But when y'all was at y'all worst, bro, y'all wasn't getting on nothing, talking about nothing. Jackson State gonna
But
win
but
nothing.
but, but well, the point I'm getting at is none of it matters because again, if you
Now it
either
don't
winning or
matter.
losing.
Now it
No,
don't matter.
it doesn't.
It matters in
Look.
1920.
No. The points still remain when I brought up 1920. You either got rings or you got nothing.
You either
You
got
the
what?
first or your last. You the first or your last, Ricky Bobby. You the first or your last. You either won it or you're nothing. So
Okay,
again,
so I
y'all were
guess we
better.
in the same boat because y'all didn't win
No,
nothing
no,
last year.
no. Well, hold on. We're in the same boat as of 2023. We are not gonna be in the same boat 2024.
So what you saying? You tell me what you trying to say.
I ain't trying to say nothing. I'm gonna go ring shopping this year. I said we're going 9-2. We're going to that championship game. I didn't stutter.
Oh, boy. They stop drinking on the job, bruh.
I ain't drinking no job. I'm
Hey.
over here sweating like a Hebrew slave trying to talk to y'all ass.
Hey.
Look, I'm finna go. I'm finna go now because I ran over my damn time any damn way.
Hey.
All right, so
Hey, 9-2. Clip this. 9-2. God damn it.
Boy, you see how they flip it when they want to flip it?
You do not know me, but I know you very well. Now let me tell you that I can't
Why
you in.
you
You do not know me, but I know you very well. Now let me tell you that I can't you in.
the nigga lying, boy. Man, just lying. What? Hold on. I gotta get to my part.
When them nappy head dog me out. Tattoos in the switch a line. Gotta watch yourself.
You lying. Okay, you lying. Hey,
I
go
just don't like
ring
how they be
something.
beating around shit to make it just work, the narrative work for them. I'm asking, how many times have you seen Southern lose in Jackson over the past 10 years? I can't remember that far. Then you can go to the 1920s and 30s on my ass. Come on, man.
Hey, listen, that man was out there. He dropped you with one of these. He's like,
Oh my God.
Why do fools fall in love? Why do birds sing so gay? And love is my way to play today. Why do they fall in love?
that boy went back to doo-wop. Oh man, that
Man, the
was
thing, boy, I'm talking about that little success that they had, boy, is really crazy how arrogant they are from that short-term success. And ain't nobody knocking the success that they had, but damn. Damn.
God.
I just fuck all what Alcorn did and what Grambling did. And I mean, like, we weren't playing for championships every year. I mean, for years, the SWAC championship was Alcorn, Southern, and Grambling. It was one of them 3 teams.
Yeah.
Alcorn, Southern, I mean, and to consider Jackson was nobody was thinking about them. But now all of a sudden, they had the 2-year run. This 2024, right?
Yeah.
They didn't win shit last year.
No.
Them 2 years just, it was like Will Smith. You like Men in Black. They hit the little button and just forgot. Flash, and it's just crazy. And it's not just, it's respect to them winning. It's no respect to the disrespect of how arrogant they are after those 2 wins, those 2 championships. Like, they was just like, that was a decade-long dynasty that rolled, and it was short and sweet, and it was over. And then even at that, you didn't win a national title.
Yeah.
You had the best team for 2 years and still fell short.
Yeah. Here you go. You said it was like this what them Jackson State fans be doing, P?
Shit.
This what they be doing?
Right now.
Sorry.
2010 to 2020. Boom. I got it. At least I still stay true to all the years. I'm willing to go anywhere. Even when we were down, I'm willing to stay true to all of the years. It's like they only want to stay true to the Dion years. Like, they don't want to talk. I'll talk about any era, any year. I'm not saying Southern been the greatest. Of course we haven't. Yeah, the last championship was 2013. That's cool. I'm still going to acknowledge all the years leading up to it and not act like it never existed or didn't happen. Oh. They will just completely not acknowledge it at all. Like, don't talk about that.
Those the lost years. That's what they call them, the lost years.
Oh, anything before 2020, I'll talk to you. Shit, we lost championships. That's fine.
Oh my gosh, y'all are
but that forgetting shit, come on, man. Like, stay true to it. If you're gonna talk about the glory years, stay true to the down years.
Yeah.
The down years is what built you to your 2-year glory. You can ask me all you want. Well, when was the last time y'all won a ship? I'm gonna tell you 2013. I'm gonna tell you we played for one in 14, 18, 19, and 22.
Dang.
21.
Yeah, that's not bad.
21, huh?
21.
Yeah, 21.
No,
it's 22.
22.
We played in 21.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna tell you, like, hey, the realization is only one team can win. We lost. It is what it is. I'm not gonna act like those years didn't happen though.
You call 22 like the backdoor year. That's what you call the backdoor.
Whatever the case, we played in the championship. So when you said who was in the championship that year, I'm gonna tell you
the backdoor year.
But damn, Jackson, like, bro, acknowledge when you was down. Okay, it's cool. It's all right. But they don't want to, because then guess what? It make them feel like we like everybody else. It's in their head that they don't want to be like everybody else.
That's fair. Hey, let me get this call. 7998 coming to you.
Hello.
What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you call from?
Hey, my name is John, calling from Jackson. I was just listening to you and Perry and Zoe. And Perry seemed to think that the only time we won was during the Deion Sanders era.
I ain't nobody saying that. I'm just saying,
we won 48 straight flat games under W.C. Gordon. And, we done won several SWAC championships. Now, I don't know where he get the Alcorn, the Grambling, and all of it. That's all it was every year. Because when I was growing up, it was different.
What year was that?
I saw different. I'm a lot older than he is.
What year was that?
I saw championships.
What year?
I saw us dominate the SWAC at one time.
What year?
Now, everybody had their run. Southern had their run. Jackson State had their run. Alcorn had their run. But if you look at the overall record between Jackson and Southern, Alcorn, I know we got the lead over Alcorn. Southern probably lead us by just a few games because they had like a 8-game win streak on us. But I know for a fact Jackson State was in the mix pretty much every year. I don't know how old Perry is, but I'm 68 years old. I've been following SWAC ball for a long time. Probably before he even got here.
Excuse me, sir.
We were relevant now. And we love our teams.
Go
We
ahead.
know about it. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not being arrogant. It's just that we believe.
Mr. John.
That's it.
Mr. John Perry got something
Thank
to say. Mr. John. Dang, man. People be hitting, quitting. Go ahead. What you got, P?
It's like they once again pick. All I said was the past 10 years. Now everybody want to go to the 20s. W.C. Gordon. I just said the past 10 years. Now everybody trying to misconstrue this. I said for 10 years. Because we played them for a SWAC championship in 2013 in Houston, right? We played them for a SWAC championship in 2022. That's all I'm asking. But now all of a sudden, it's like, Perry, you don't know when you was coming through, and I don't know what you talking about. I know we won the first ever SWAC championship against Jackson.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
I like that, P.
I mean, but damn, I'm not disrespecting Jackson. I'm just saying y'all tend to make everybody else forget. I mean, y'all tend to make everybody else want to remember when they was down and constantly, because you'll throw that in my face. When the last time you won the championship? All right, well, I can tell you about for 10 years how sorry y'all asses were. While we was playing for championships.
I'm standing on business.
But that's the part. Forget all that. No, you just remember what y'all haven't done and how bad you been. And we're only going to talk about our 2-year run with Dion. And then we're going to go back to W.C. Gordon. And hell, I wasn't even born. We're talking about the 80s. So that 10 years is a long time to be losing. And they act like that was just, it happened so fast. I know. Shit, it was a damn. That's all I'm saying, bro. I just don't like when you try to make everybody else remember their downfall, but then you forget yours like that wasn't that long ago. What's wrong? I'm just saying, man. Look, boy, they like to do us any kind of way. Then they'll misconstrue it and then just focus on, I ain't knocking Jackson State. I don't like y'all. Y'all don't like me. That's fine. But at the end of the day, I'm going to acknowledge all the years that have gone on.
Oh,
we ain't had no losing season. I know that.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
We ain't had no losing season.
Oh, boy, Barry, you stupid. Oh, my stomach hurt. Oh.
Ask them all the coaches they went through from 2010 to 20.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Oh, man. Oh.
And I thought this was supposed to keep going after Dion.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
They back to regular old schedule program. Ain't nothing to change, huh? And they still holding on, guys. Though talking about damn near going undefeated, beating ULM. I'm talking delusional, man.
Oh, geez. Oh, man.
And see, for a lot of people who don't understand, this is a rivalry. See, a lot of y'all, you don't even gotta understand a Southern and Jackson rivalry. Y'all just be talk. Y'all don't even know what this like. Y'all don't know the depths of this. So this is deep rivalry right here. Get your team a rival and find somebody to talk noise instead of both y'all teams being sorry and not competing for something. So find your team and get a rival so you can have somebody to talk trash to and have some pride to show up to a game. And that's for any of the mother SWAC schools out there.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. That was entertainment. That was 100% entertainment right there. All right.
That good?
That was some good stuff right there. Boy, you stupid.
Hey, find y'all a rival and have some shit talking moments. Because I know a lot of times we come on here, boy, y'all quiet. Y'all ain't got nothing to say about none of your opponents.
None. Nada. So
yeah.
Cool.
So bring some excitement to y'all teams and to y'all fan base instead of sitting back being quiet and watching Southern and Jackson do this.
Man, well, you You was out there. You was out there swinging, boy. Yeah, Cole came in with them haymakers. You.
Hey,
I like
man,
it.
it's for the love of this for the show, man. Hey, they love it. And look, the comment section just going crazy because they just whether they got something good or bad to say, they just want to go. Hey, come on with it. That's what this is for.
Yeah, I love it.
Just want to say, get it off your chest. Call in, say it.
Oh man. Get on Craig. It's like, get on Craig. Get on Craig. Oh,
Zoe started this though. He shouldn't have said what he said about it. He said something real. All I heard was something blue and gold.
Oh yeah, I think he was like protecting some blue and gold, something. I don't know. But it was funny though. You know what I'm saying? It's
Give me the gun, son.
Craig.
You think you a man without that gun? I'm a man without it. But man, listen, this has been a great episode, man. We had to run it back. We didn't get finished with everything, so we had to run it back, man. Perry, thank you so much, man, for coming on as always, making time to do some shows with Outspoken. Guys, we appreciate y'all. Yo, you crying, bro. I was over here crying.
I hope the people enjoyed that.
I know they did. They had to. And for if you're just joining us, we had Zoe on here, and it was a lot of this going on.
Well, let me tell you that I caught you in Switch a line, gotta watch yourself. Yeah,
there's a lot of lying going on the platform, so you gotta go back and watch it. I ain't got time to do the whole recap, but as Jackson State fans do, they gonna lie. Okay, they gonna lie, they gonna blow V8, they gonna tell you what they gonna do, what they should have had, how all that crazy stuff. So yeah, go back and watch it. I'm gonna have timestamps coming back probably within the hour. So listen, until next time, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm a holla. God bless.